All right. Today is April 5th, 2025. It's Saturday afternoon. I'm Jay Essen, and we are resuming the Little Match Girl 3, the Escalus Manifold. Last time, we had been attempting to collect allies in our fight to oppose the shards of the Mirror of Belial, and after I played, Ryan actually had some commentary on his Discord for patrons who have contributed to his online activities, and it pointed out a couple things that I had either forgotten or overlooked. So let us see where we left off. We are on Lake's Edge. Snow covers the frozen surface of the lake to the northeast, and it's hard to say where exactly the shoreline is. There's sure footing to the south, southwest, and northwest. That polar bear is still stalking the frozen beach. And Abinizabeth is level 5. I think the other members of our party are similar. Oh, looks like I need to reload. Let's go back to the southwest to the henge. Okay, yeah. These stones here in the center of the henge have apparently been reappearing on several different locations we've been visiting. I want to go further southwest to the hut. A narrow band of bare earth surrounds this tiny shack, and smoke billows from the chimney. The hut has no door. We're going to go back into the hut, and we're going to examine the hearth, which takes us to Honolulu. Let me pull my notes back up here, because I don't remember if I had been... Okay, yes, I did have some notes about the map. Okay, so we're back in Honolulu. Let's go east. Let me actually type into the game browser window. East to the lobby. And we're going to go north to the front desk, where we have saved the front manager a headache. We're going to go north once more to the back hallway. And the door to the west is unmarked. I dismissed this supply closet as just a bunch of towels, but there was a strong suggestion that there may be more going on here. So let's examine these towels once more. Plain white towels. What if we search the towels? Oh, you paw through the towels. Hold on, that's not supposed to be here. Honolulu 2933. Corridor. A dark curtain shudders along to a pounding bass line. Garish light trickles underneath, pointing out every speck of grime on the tiled floor. At the other end of the hallway is a wriggling hole in space. Freeman can't help nodding along with the beat. Eunoia covers her ears. "What is wrong with you landwalkers?" she wails. This is not something I had encountered when I played through this game previously, so this is new to me. This feels very reminiscent of a similar episode in the game Earthbound, in which there's an area that's kind of infamous in that game called Moonside, and this is very clearly Moonside-esque in that we go into public services area's back room and don't seem to be examining anything of particular note, and suddenly we are transported to the same place, except the colors are inverted, and there is things like a wriggling hole in space, which just, it feels very Moonside-esque. So let's see. If we examine the hole's quite a bit larger on this end, easy enough to walk through. I don't know. I think we just go out, but we aren't in anything. If we go up, yeah, the only way to go would be inside. So if we go inside, that goes to the lounge. A long vinyl couch hovers in the darkness, lit up by a holosynth scene of waves crashing on an empty beach. An eye-watering sunset plays on a 3-second loop. Everything is throbbing in time with the frantic bass. It's hard to make out the curtain you came in through, but it's there. A cybermancer and his familiar are sprawled across the sofa, staring expectantly into the hologram. Let's check out that hologram. Which do you mean? The hollow beach, the hollow sea, or the hollow sunset? Well, let's look at this at the beach first. The hollow beach, the sand is glittering, rippling, pulsating. And the hollow sea? Besides being quantized to the oppressive music, there's something unnatural about the wave's shapes and motions. The rendering algorithm has probably never seen a real ocean. And the hollow sunset. The sun, palpitating violently, obscenely spherical, keeps sinking and 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 sinking into the sea. This is an experience for sure. So let's examine the Cybermancer. The Cybermancer's visor is twinkling with impenetrable petabytes of analysis. Let's examine the familiar. The Cybermancer's familiar is an autonomous sharkoid, only a couple feet long, but with plenty of teeth. Let's talk to Cybermancer. Sir, you yell over the music, I think your pocket dimension has a little millennium error. I could call someone to have it fixed. The Cybermancer only glances at you, but even through his visor you can read his expression. You step forward. This isn't your pocket dimension, is it? Before he can answer, a leggy cheerleader materializes out of the holosynth projection, bearing a thin cardboard box that looks somewhat more solid than herself. A syrupy voice warbles. I have a large pepperoni for resident _FF69B4. That's me, says the Cybermancer confidently. No, he's not, you're about to say, when he and his familiar leap off the couch to shut you up. Your party. Oh, because we're going into combat. Ebenezabeth, Eunoia, and Riemann. Enemy party, Jalex and Sharkus. That's fine, says the delivery cheerleader. I can wait. So, okay, we need to subdue the Cybermancer and his familiar. Let's examine Sharkus. Okay, yeah, it's just the same descriptions. So, what are we going to do? Let's start by having... We've got these new abilities that we haven't really used. Let's try... We're going to have Riemann gouge the familiar. Ebenezabeth has the ability to... Okay, we don't really want to have to revive, but we can if need be. And otherwise, probably don't need to worry too much about getting the most optimal abilities during this particular encounter. I'm just going to go ahead and have her Arc of Iris. And for Eunoia, let's go ahead and have her Makani on Sharkus. Eunoia will be casting Makani on Sharkus. With a murderous screech, Riemann plunges toward Sharkus, aiming at the softest tissue that presents itself. A sickening sound wrenches the battlefield. Sharkus takes 8 damage. Sharkus' speed decreases. Sharkus' skill decreases. Jalex conjures a firewall around Riemann's ankles. Riemann takes 2 damage. Freeman is immobilized. Sharkus whaps its tail at Ebenezabeth. She doesn't seem to mind. Ebenezabeth looks up, and 2 vivid rainbows fill the air. Jalix stares into the dazzling light and takes 4 damage. Then Jalix falls asleep. Sharkus stares into the dazzling light and takes 7 damage. Then Sharkus falls asleep. So she's making a double rainbow. I see. I see what you're doing here, Ryan. Eunoia whispers softly, and a current of piercing wind flies into Sharkus, dealing 12 damage. Eunoia's speed increases. Sharkus groans softly, shrinks to the size of a business card, and swims into Jalix's pocket. Okay, so Freeman is ensnared. I don't know what immobilization does in this context, if it just means he doesn't have the ability to use an ability. Because arguably, shrieking should be just as possible even if you are ensnared. Let's just have him try... We'll have him try shrieking. Because I feel like this is maybe a lower intensity fight. We can afford to play around with our abilities and maybe let somebody faint so we can go ahead and get a revive off. What if we use Haze on Jalix? Okay, and Ebenezabeth can... let's just go ahead and have her... I don't know that I've even had anybody try defending. Let's have her defend. So Ebenezabeth will be defending. Freeman disentangles himself. Jalix is asleep. Eunoia gestures torpidly, and a faint mist coalesces around Jalix. Jalix wakes up. Ebenezabeth is defending. Okay, well, that was a round in which we basically accomplished very little. That's quite all right, though. Freeman, you're still at 16. Let's go ahead and gouge Jalix. Let's have Eunoia. She can... We'll try embracing since we haven't before. We'll go ahead and embrace, and Ebenezabeth should... I think she'll be going last. Let's go ahead and rapid fire. Jalix. With a murderous screech, Freeman plunges toward Jalix, aiming at the softest tissue that presents itself. A sickening sound wrenches the battlefield. Jalix takes 9 damage. Jalix's speed decreases. Jalix's skill decreases. Jalix strikes Freeman with a sizzling data bolt. Freeman takes 1 damage. Maybe this was a bad idea, Freeman grumbles. Eunoia spreads her arms wide, and motes of glittering energy float softly through the air. Ebenezabeth gains 6 HP. Freeman gains 13 HP. Ebenezabeth takes aim at Jalix. Her Colt glows red hot. She fires. Bang, 7 damage. 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 The revolver cools down. Ebenezabeth slumps over, exhausted. Jalix, realizing his initial threat analysis may have been faulty, shrugs his shoulders and teleports away. You win. The holographic cheerleader sniffs dramatically. Well, in that case, she says, and she hands you the pizza before being reabsorbed into the pulsating sunset. Okay, we got a pizza. A large pepperoni pizza from the year 2933. When you eat it, everybody in the party regains 15 HP. So I guess these weren't enemies that were actually subdued by the Mirror of Belial. They were just normally antagonistic. So here we are back in the lounge. I don't imagine this couch will be very restful, but let's check it out all the same. A distorted reflection of the simulated sunset plays across the vinyl surface. Can we rest? You take a seat on the couch, but it's impossible to relax with all this light and noise, so you get up. Okay. Well, fair enough. Let's go ahead and examine the curtain again. Curtain is vibrating, impatient. We go out. We are once again in the corridor. And we can go ahead and check out the tiled floor. This place is too gross to reward close inspection. Alright, fair enough. Enter hole. You take a deep breath and pass through the hole. We're back in Honolulu. Okay, well that was an experience. We go back to the hallway. And let's go back to the south and let's rest here. Oh, we're not at the front desk. We need to be at the lobby. Here's the lobby. Now we rest. And if we go back to Coconut Lanai, we can continue east to the Coconut Grove. We examine the fire. And that takes us to Deimos, 2049. I need to get to Finland. This from here is Cole's place. So let's go north to the pasture. We go east from here twice to the ranch house. We go in and we examine the fire. And the fire takes us once more to Finland, 1848. Oh, Finland is where we started. Oh, we need to go to Wessex. So from Finland, we go southeast to the mausoleum. We can go in. So in the chamber, the wind whistles up and down the length of this narrow hallway. Violet fire burns in iron sconces, illuminating dozens of skulls lining the walls, and a flight of stone stairs leading down. Eunoia turns slowly to take in the entire macabre scene. All she has to say about it is a quiet, "Oh." We should do the same. Let's examine these skulls. Perhaps 40 human skulls, each in its own little niche in the wall. Most of them are very old. One niche contains a fist-sized skull carved from jade with rubies for eyes. Go ahead and examine the jade skull. A jade skull with ruby eyes? Use it on a fainted ally to restore them with 15 HP. Oh, well, we should take that. And there are purple flames to take us to Wessex. No, look. Violet fire. Examine fire. The purple flames awaken under your gaze. They leap from their sconces and encircle you. They quiver in excitement, coming closer and closer. You're getting hotter and hotter. But where are you? We're in Wessex. So I forgot. We have an entire area we haven't gotten to that is accessible from here. It might be accessible somewhere else as well, but I don't remember. So here we are again on the riverside. Eunoia sniffs. I don't think I like this place, she says. So let's go northeast to the burned ruin. And east from here to the ruined tower. And east into the woods. The woods from the west fades away here in the middle of 1,000 trees. Hey, I was born somewhere around here, says Freeman. He looks from tree to tree, but then he gives up. Let's examine these trees. There are trees in every direction except west, where the village is. Anyone or anything could be hiding anywhere out there. Well, let's go east. We need to go further in. The woods are too thick to be trudging through at random. Okay, well, let's go west back to the village then. Here's that ruined tower again. Let's go southwest to the village, to the longhouse. This is abandoned. We go southwest again to the infirmary. Hubbub and occasional moans emanate from the thatched roof house. A man is sitting on the ground outside the door. Okay, let's talk to the man again. Hello, you say, and the bandaged man says hello, and Freeman says hello, and the man perks up. Is that you there? The chief's pet crow? Former chief's former pet crow, yeah, Freeman says. He looks like he regrets saying anything. How'd you get loose? You gnaw off your own leg? No, Freeman looks at you pleadingly. We'd better get going, you say. Okay. Yeah, Freeman would rather we didn't talk to this guy. We go in. Let's talk to the one able-bodied person. Talking to her, however, just brings us to Eunoia. Eunoia beams at you. My dreams have come true, sister. I'm finally fighting by your side. You smile back and hope nothing awful happens to her, which is an unfortunate thing to have to wish. Examine able-bodied person. Examine person. About a dozen villagers are here. The doctor has done the best she can with each of them. Still, some are in better shape than others. Examine the doctor. The doctor wears a brown dress and no shoes. Her hair is matted. Her eyes betray several sleepless nights, but she can't rest. Let's talk to the doctor. Get those filthy Northmen out of here. They're out in the woods, in the middle of the birches. Okay, so we need to find the birch trees. Let's go out. Go northeast, and northeast, and east. Search trees. Can't see anything to tell you which way to go. Okay, examine trees. So, we need to find the birch trees. Can we just examine them? The only birches you can see from here lie to the northeast, so we go northeast. Okay. You venture into the birches. Viking camp. 4 dingy tents stand deep in the woods, surrounding a dangerously large fire pit. 4 Vikings are lounging around the fire, heedless of any safety concerns. There's no trace of a trail here. You'll have to rely on your sense of direction to find the way back to the southwest. So we examine the Vikings. What do you mean? Eric Ragnarsson, Embla the Crazed, Orvar the Dreary, or Van the Surly? Let's examine Eric. The leader of the Vikings is the only one wearing a male shirt. He has a youngish face and not much of a beard. Embla? The Viking lady has a tattoo of a snake that starts on her face and goes down to her calf. We'll examine Orvar. Orvar carries no weapon, but he does have a femur with a bunch of runes carved into it, so that sounds like somebody we might need to focus on. And Van? One Viking, clearly the oldest, carries a bow. His eyebrows have been shaved off, perhaps so they won't interfere with his aim. Is that something they really did? That's wild. Let's reload. And look. Let's examine the tents. The canvas tents have traveled all the way across Britain, and most recently they've been dragged through the swamps of Somerset. They are filthy. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get this over with. Let's talk to our Vikings, which will start a fight. Eric. The Vikings rise as you approach. What do you think you're doing, little girl? She's a spy, one Viking shouts. She's a forest spirit. No, says the lady Viking. I think she's just a foolish little girl. But we can still kill her, says the guy who thought you were a forest spirit. And everyone agrees. Your party. Enemy party. We are going to want to address Orvar, followed by Van, I think. Orvar seems like he might be the easiest to take out simply because casters are historically weak in most contexts, and that may well be the case here. Let us start, though, by Shriek. We want to try and get as much area of effect damage in as possible and control the crowd. So let's start by Shrieking. And let's have Ebenezabeth use... So Freeman will be Shrieking. Ebenezabeth is going to use Arc of Iris to damage and put multiple enemies to sleep. Ebenezabeth will be casting Arc of Iris. And then Eunoia should cast Synoidal Wave. So this should disrupt and deal damage to the entire crowd effectively. So, Eunoia will be casting Synoidal Wave. Freeman takes a deep breath. Then he screams louder than any crow you've ever heard. Eric Ragnarsson shudders violently. Embla the Crazed is unaffected. Orvar the Dreary winces. Van the Surly is unaffected. Ebenezabeth looks up, and a vivid rainbow fills the air. Eric Ragnarsson stares into dazzling light and takes 6 damage. Oh, it's only one rainbow this time. Then Eric Ragnarsson falls asleep. Embla the Crazed stares into the dazzling light and takes 7 damage. Orvar the Dreary stares into the dazzling light, but doesn't take any damage. Because he has high magic defense, of course. Van the Surly stares into the dazzling light and takes 8 damage. Then Van the Surly falls asleep. Eunoia gestures broadly, and a sea-green torrent falls out of the air, crashing violently onto the enemy. Eric takes 12. Eric's skill decreases. Embla takes 15. Embla's skill decreases. Orvar takes 7. Orvar's skill decreases. Van takes 16. Van skill decreases. Van finally falls. A mirror shard twinkles on the ground next to him. So, okay, we managed to deal with one of them without taking any damage other than our self-inflicted ability costs, so that's good. Orvar the Dreary is unable to act. Van the Surly has fainted. Eric Ragnarsson wakes up. Embla the Crazed fixes Ebenezabeth with a nerving glare. Ebenezabeth ignores it. So this was a very productive first round. Let us... we need to deal with Orvar with physical attacks, I think. So let's go ahead and have... let's have Freeman... Vex, Embla. Ebenezabeth should shoot Orvar, and Eunoia should go ahead and Snoidle Wave again. Freeman descends upon Embla the Crazed, cawing and flapping and squawking wildly. Embla the Crazed is thoroughly distracted by the interruption. Ebenezabeth takes a shot at Orvar the Dreary and deals 5 damage. Orvar yelps and shrinks back. Eunoia gestures broadly. Sea Green Torrent falls out of the air, crashing violently. Eric takes 12. Embla takes 15. Orvar takes 7. A mirror shard falls out of Eric's eye as he falls to the ground. Embla staggers. Her axe falls from her hand, and she hits the ground hard. A mirror shard lands next to her head. Orvar the Dreary tries to cast Vampire, but he doesn't have enough energy, because he's nearly out. Van has fainted, Eric's fainted, Embla has fainted. So, at this point, we can just go ahead and peck Orvar, shoot Orvar, stab Orvar. Freeman swoops down on Orvar the Dreary and lands a hit with his beak, dealing 5 damage. Orvar crumples to the ground, and a mirror shard falls from his eye. You win! The Vikings slowly recover. You apologize for thrashing them and explain your mission. Thank you for freeing us from the Snow Queen's power, says Eric. Those mirror shards must have been what compelled us to stay here, pillaging the same village over and over again. When we should have been chasing King Alfred, Van grumbles. As soon as we're rested, we'll head out to find Guthrum and the rest of the army. First, though, we have to show our thanks to this helpful little girl. Hold on a second. Eric crawls into his tent for a moment and returns with an odd piece of jewelry, a golden serpent on a chain. The Amulet of Scalamant, forged in the Empire of the Saracens. Use it to overcome the Snow Queen and go with the blessings of Odin. You accept the amulet and thank Eric for his generosity. Let's examine the amulet. The golden form of a ferocious serpent hangs on this necklace. If Ebenezabeth puts it on, she gains the Scalamant ability. Scalamant spends 6 HP to summon a conflagration that damages multiple enemies and lowers their attack. That is a fire ability, which means it is on the correct person. Let's reload before we forget. And now we should find a place to rest. I don't think we can rest here. Oh, we should take all of our shards. Okay. Can we rest? There's nothing to sit on. Have you saved your game lately? I've not, but that's not a bad idea. Let's do that. We are saving March. We are going to overwrite March. Okay. Okie dokie. Let's examine the... before we do that, let's go southwest and west. Southwest, southwest, in, rest. Go back out. Northeast, northeast, east, northeast. Examine the fire. The fire is huge and wild, spitting sparks out into the woods. You stare into the flames, willing them to control themselves. We can't help it, they sing unrepentantly. You wish you could make them see reason, but now you're falling into the flames, falling across the void. Yardenver? 1467? Flower bed. Sunlight shines through the petals of tulips and daisies, dappling your face with pink and orange. Let's actually find out the pronunciation. It is possibly... This was not giving me very relevant results. Thanks, Bing. Well, 1467, flower bed. Sunlight shines through the petals of tulips and daisies, dappling your face with pink and orange. One leaf, rather low to the ground, seems like an ideal spot to curl up and rest. An indistinct path between the stems leads roughly east and west. Oh, this is nice, Eunoia cranes her head back, taking in the scene. Yes, I like this one very much, she says. You feel a pinch in your shoulder as Freeman draws himself up against your neck, shivering with anxiety. Flowers aren't supposed to be that big, he mutters. That's a good point. This is an unusual setting. Examine the tulips. The flowers are high above your head, their faces turned to the sun. Daisies will give the same result? Yes, they will. Let's examine the leaf. There's plenty of room on this leaf, and it's awfully soft. So here's our local rest spot. So we have paths to the east and west. Let's go east first. To the great tree. The tree seems to stretch higher than the sky, its branches spreading to shelter all of Yardenver. Closer to the ground, an entrance has been carved into the great tree's trunk. The gate is flanked by imposing soapstone statues, warning away intruders. The path approaching the great tree continues east and west. Let's examine these statues. The statues depict two bee warriors, a man and a woman. Both wield hooked spears. Both are incredibly muscular. Okay, well, might not want to go east first. Let's go west then. To the stump. The path from the east comes to an end here at the foot of what used to be a huge tree. Now it's only the foot of a stump, although it's still tall enough that you can't see what's on top. We examine the stump. The stump is about twice your height. The sides are covered in deeply furrowed bark, which suggests we should be able to climb. You scramble up the side of the stump. It's not all that difficult or dangerous. The bark is easy to grip and rises at a fairly gentle slope. It's not very comfortable up here. A giant net lies abandoned on top of the stump. I completely forgot that this is what we needed. Examine giant net. A very long pole with a large circular net on the end, large enough to hold a very large person. We're going to take that net. And if we look, you're high enough to be at eye level with the surrounding flowers, not high enough to see much farther than you could before. If we go down, you shimmy down the bark back to the ground. We need to go back east now. Okay. So there's an entrance into the great tree's trunk, but there is still path further to the east, I think. Let's keep going east. Or we tried. The path from the west stops at the foot of a weathered fence. The pickets are built close together. The space between is choked with grass and overgrowth. The bleached skull of some woodland creature serves as a small shelter for the entrance to a tunnel leading underground. A butterfly knight in gleaming armor stands guard over the entrance. Without saying a word, she raises her sword to attack you. So we are facing a butterfly knight. Let's examine this knight. The guard wields an iridescent broadsword in one fidgety hand. Her hair is askew. Her eyes are bloodshot. Her general aspect is that of a crazed person. Well, it sounds, if she's crazed, I don't know how much more crazed she'll get once we vex her, but let's go ahead and try that anyway. We vex the knight. We should Scalamant, just to see what it's like, even though it's a little inefficient to be using against a single opponent. And let's go ahead and Vortex the knight to see how she deals with magic damage. Okay. So, Riemann descends upon the butterfly knight, cawing and flapping and squawking wildly. The butterfly knight is thoroughly distracted by the interruption. Ebenezer grasps her amulet, and the burning serpent Scalamant erupts into existence. With a vicious roar, he begins to twine himself around the enemy. The Butterfly Knight takes 8 damage. The Scalamant nods dutifully at Ebenezer and disappears. Eunoia summons a torrent of water aimed right at the Butterfly Knight. The Butterfly Knight takes 13 damage. The Knight staggers back, but she manages to stay up. The Butterfly Knight is unable to act. Okay. Now let's see how she deals with physical. We'll have Freeman, Peck, and Ebenezer will shoot, but Eunoia will continue to vortex. Freeman dives at the Butterfly Knight and lands a hit with his beak, dealing 4 damage. Her sword falls from her hand. Reaching out for the weapon, she stumbles and falls. And then she remains on the ground, clutching her sword like a teddy bear. You win. Was there no sign of a mirror shard? Nope, she is recovering from her defeat. The guard's eyes are closed, her brow furrowed in frustration. She holds her sword close to her breast as she sleeps. Okay. So she is not under the effects of the Snow Queen. Let's go into the shelter. Let's examine the skull. Oh, wrong skull. Examine the bleached skull. A badger skull, if you had to guess. The tunnel underneath is just wide enough for a party traveling single file. Examine the fence. The fence is ancient. It will crumble and topple someday, but there's nothing you can do about it at this moment. Let's go in. To the alley. An awkward kink in the tunnel connects the path to the surface with a larger cavern to the west. A weevil merchant has set up shop in a nearby alcove. Let's examine this weevil merchant. The merchant wears a shabby cloak and an oversized pair of spectacles. His hands are half-clasped, fingers twiddling expectantly. The only item he has on display right now is a rusty bangle. Let's examine that bangle. This is an iron bracelet of ancient design. The knots and curlicues worked into its surface have been almost obliterated by rust. Powerful magic, says the merchant. Let's talk to him. The weevil is delighted that you've decided to pay attention to him. Well met, little girl. Out on some adventure, yes? Fortunate for you, then. This will aid you greatly, if the price is right. He raises an old bracelet covered in rust. What price exactly? You ask. He chuckles. No, nothing exactly about it. We don't use the Queen's coin down here. Bartering's the game. Make me an offer, little girl. You frown. Maybe. Well, I think we do have something appropriate. We had this broken antenna that we could never make use of because, as Ryan pointed out in his commentary on his Discord, this is very blatantly an earthbound item for Jeff to repair. Just something that he would use when you would spend the night. When his IQ had risen high enough, he would repair it into some useful item. But since it is of no use to us currently, let's see if we can offer the antenna to this weevil. Let's show antenna. How about this? You present the antenna to the weevil. His eyes get huge behind his huge glasses. You may have something there, little girl. Let me see. He leans in close to inspect the item, keeping his hands clasped behind his back. Yes, I think we have a deal. May I? Certainly. He deferentially places the bangle in your hand before he takes the antenna in his. A pleasure, little girl, a positive pleasure. And then he stows his prize in his cloak. I don't imagine he will have much more to say, but we can talk to him further. The weevil is still pleased to see you, but he's forced to bow apologetically. Afraid this stall is closed for the day, dear little girl. It is hoped that new wares will reach these shelves in the near future, but the market is ever uncertain. You understand completely. What do you plan to do with that item I traded to you? You ask. He scratches his nose. Afraid that's a secret, dear little girl. Okay. Well, now we have a rusty bangle. Let's examine the bangle. This is an iron bracelet of ancient design. Right, okay. Someone can wear it. If we wear bangle, we gain the Iaren Fuar ability. I expect something iron ferrous, something metallic. Let's see what it is. Spend 3 HP to cast a metallic spell on one enemy, dealing damage and lowering magic and resistance. Okay, so this may not be as useful for Ebenezabeth to wear. I feel like for the most part, if it's a magical attack, it is going to be most beneficial for... Let's think about this. I have been just pretty much putting items on Ebenezabeth to test them, and then I haven't really been moving them in some cases because of Arc of Iris is still on here, even if it feels like that might be of more use to have on Freeman. So let's have Eunoia wear the bangle. Put bangle on Eunoia so that she will have the ability to deal damage. Well, actually, no. If we think about the order in which the characters are acting by default, 3 HP is a very low cost to reduce magic and resistance. Let's actually have put bangle on Freeman. And where is Arc of Iris coming from? Let's examine me. We are wearing the serpent amulet and the diamond necklace. Put diamond necklace on Freeman. He gains the Arc of Iris. Okay, that's what I wanted, I think. So that's a little redundant because he already had the ability to shriek. So I'm just indecisive here. I'm going to go ahead and put diamond necklace on Ebenezabeth. Okay. Necklace. Yeah, that's not a real word. Right, I'm spelling. There we go. Okay. Now, if we look, an awkward kink in this tunnel connects the path to the surface with the larger cavern to the west. Let's go west. To the camp. A modest cook fire illuminates a small village of cots and half-tents. The burrow is broad enough to accommodate about a dozen such scanty dwellings, but the ceiling is very low, and trails of smoke flow right above your head. A number of insects are here, going about their insectly business. The grasshopper knight standing near the fire seems to be the man in charge. Let's examine the knight. A tall knight in green armor. His expression is grim. We talk to the knight. The grasshopper knight gives you a skeptical look. May I ask what you're doing here, little girl? I don't mean to intrude, sir. You execute a curtsy, which sets him somewhat more at ease. You seem to be very busy. We're recovering from a battle with Queen Majali's army. She's sure to strike back soon. We need to be ready. War takes its toll, you say, and the knight seems to understand all that this implies. We didn't rush to violence. We only refused to pay Majali's unfair nectar taxes. She chose to enforce her law with steel, and with steel we defend our rights. You nod. There doesn't seem to be much more to say. My name is Cario. Cario? Ebenezabeth, you answer, and the two of you shake hands. So, Cario's here, along with the insects. Everyone has a job to do. Nobody seems very interested in visitors. Let's examine the village of cots. One spare cot near the fire looks like a fine place for rest, so let's go ahead and rest. I don't think we need to reload, but we can go ahead and do that as well. And let's finally examine the fire. You sit down in front of the fire. You focus on the flames. The tunnel disappears, and you soar through the void. Back to Honolulu. It's dark out, getting darker. A warm breeze rustles the palms, heavy with crooked vines. Lobelias and heliconias burn blood red in the dusk. Okay, so my next objective is to get back to Deimos, so we need to get to the fire pit again. So we go east to the lobby, Coconut Grove is to the east, and we arrive there after 2 commands to walk east. We examine the fire pit. Here's Deimos. Okay. We are in the observatory. Let's go west to the wasteland. West again to the crater. I don't remember if we've dealt with this moon beast that's in the cavern nearby. We go further west to the monument. Catch cow with net. Undo. Let's climb monument. Catch cow with net. No, okay. Give net to Riemann. Nope. Okay. Hey, it's the henge. Oh. Okay. 5 tall white stones project from the black rock, forming a vague circle around you. You can go north, southeast, southwest, east, and west from here. The rocks are worn smooth, as if by many centuries of wind and weather, but there hasn't been wind or weather on Deimos for that long. Little girl, they whisper, each in its own voice. Talk to stones. Hello, stones, you say. My name is Ebenezabeth. Little girl, the stones whisper, we're so sad. Oh, little girl, we wish we could apologize. You turn from stone to stone, trying to face whichever one is talking, but the whispers are in your head. Apologize for what, you ask? We can't remember. We're sorry. Sorry that we can't apologize. That's all right, you tell them. Okay. Climb stones. No. Keep going west. Here's the cavern. Let's go west to the observatory. Can we climb the scope? The scaffolding doesn't look like it would support your weight. Can we... Okay. We jump. We hop. Okay. Maybe we need to bring the net to our man. In the ranch house. Cole. Show net to Cole. I think he would care. You ask Cole if he's made any progress recovering his heifer. Not exactly, but these numbers gotta add up eventually, right? It's their nature. Okay, well. Back out. Southwest. Examine the monument. Give net to monument. Put net on monument? You can't get the giant net to stay put in whatever tiny anti-grav field is above the statue's hand. Dang. Okay. Just double checking. I feel like there is a spot where Freeman can't catch the cow. Well, I done this before, but it's been long enough that I do not remember the specific mechanism by which I'm supposed to catch this dratted cow. Yep, cow passes right over your head. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Examine the crater. It's nothing but a slightly frustrating hole in the ground. Yep. Hmm. Let me take this opportunity to consult with an external resource because I would like to remember how we go about this. Here's the match girl. The Escalus Manifold. One of the nice things about the older games is that a valuable resource has been created by David Wellborn, showing extremely detailed maps and walkthrough and instructions. And for the sake of getting past this particular challenge, I am going to resort to consulting this reference material. So let's see. We have, let's control F, net. We've got our baked goods. That's not going to be it. Cabinet, irrelevant. We take the net. Okay. Okay. Wait if necessary for the cow to be directly overhead, then... Oh. I've just been timing it wrong. I really thought that I had waited until it was directly overhead, but that's fine. Let's go east. Let's wait. And right overhead. Take net with cow. Oop. Undo. Take cow with net. No. We must be missing something from earlier to be able to get that. Really? Okay. Just double checking here. What did I miss? Really? I don't seem to. Here's the monument. Almost overhead. Get cow with net. Get cow with net. Nope. Okay, interesting. I'm not sure why that's not working, but I should have anticipated. Well, this seems like a good time to pause and consult reference materials for 5 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the stream here, and I will return momentarily. Okay, I return. It might simply just be that I'm overcomplicating things. Take cow. Look at that. Okay, so we took the cow. With the butt of the net handle thing lodged in a microcrater, you carefully adjust the net to intercept the cow's orbit. The cow approaches the net with a sort of blank apprehension in its eyes. It enters the net. The net does not stop the cow. You grab the handle tight. You are lifted into the air. Henge. 5 tall white stones project from the black rock, forming a vague circle around you. You can go north, southeast, southwest, east, and west from here. The cow net Ebenezabeth system continues on its course. Because we are moving, we cannot enter a command. Cavern, an apparent gash in the rock, not a crater, certainly not a tectonic trench, forms a barely navigable path downward. Losing some altitude, you manage to get your heels on the moon's surface. Observatory. The sky is blazing with millions of silent stars. The ground is bare rock, the color of charcoal. A nearby crater has been converted into the dish of a large radio telescope. You're slowing down. Wasteland. The daytime side of Deimos is somewhat cheerier than the night, but there's nothing to be cheery about here except rocks. Finally, you force yourself to a stop. The net falls down ahead of you, with the poor cow trapped in its webbing. But when you extricate the animal, it's clearly less traumatized its recent experience than it is happy to be walking around on 4 legs again. The cow joins your party. It's just a regular cow. It's an even-toed ungulate level 0, affinity stone, 5 HP, 10 attack, 1 defense, 0 magic, 2 resistance, 1 speed, 3 skill. The cow can charge into an animal or moo to make a cow noise. These are rookie numbers, cow. You need to get on our level. But I don't know if we're actually going to go so far as to put a phylactery on you or give you any shards. Let's instead just go northeast to the pasture, and east to the barn, and east to the ranch house and inn. My cat John is making noise because he wants some attention, some treats. Please discard. Inside the ranch house. Same room description. Cole is hunched over the dining table, scratching at figures. Hearing you and the cow enter, he turns around and drops his pen. Miranda! I'll be a son of a bug! He rushes over to smother the creature with baby talk and scritches. Then he looks up at you. How in heck did you deorbit my darling Miranda, little miss? Oh, but we better get her back home. You can tell me on the way. And now we move to the pasture. Cole whistles. That's a heck of a yarn, little miss. Sounds like you need all the help you can get. I certainly do, you tell him. Then do me one more favor, Ebenezabeth. He takes a knee and places his hat over his heart. Would you very kindly bestow one of them silver phylacteries on old Cole so he can take a stab at repaying you? I would be happy to. You place the silver chain around his neck. He stands and replaces his hat. Cole joins your party. We're going to use Shard on Cole. You insert the mirror shard into Cole's phylactery. Cole levels up. Gains +1 attack, defense, speed, and skill. He stretches his back. Can't complain, or I should not to, at least. Cole learned the meteorite ability. Spend 2 HP to hit an enemy with a tiny but deadly stone. We're going to do it again. For another, +1 attack, defense, speed, and skill. He rolls his shoulders and produces a satisfied grunt. Any level up you can walk away from is okay by me. Cole learned the scan ability. Use your scouter lens to view an enemy's stats. We go ahead and level up once more. Gain +1 HP, attack, defense, resistance, and speed. He cocks an eyebrow. Well, how about that? Every once in a while, something goes my way. Let's examine Cole. He is Space Cowboy, level 4, Affinity Lightning. 16 HP, 14 attack, 8 defense, 6 magic, 4 resistance, 14 speed, 14 skill. He has Photon Pistol with 11 ammo. He can zap to fire it at an enemy. He can defend to brace for an attack. He can recharge the magazine of his 11 shooter. He can lasso to spend 1 HP to slow down an enemy with your electro lariat. You can meteorite, spend 2 HP to hit an enemy with a tiny but deadly stone. And you can scan to view an enemy's stats. A lanky fellow in blue jeans and boots with a big hat and a stubbled chin. Clipped to his belt are a photon pistol and an electro lariat. We're going to use shard on Cole to bring him to level 5. Cole levels up. +1 HP, attack, resistance, and skill. He puffs out his chest, can't complain, or I should not to at least. And he learned the dual shot ability. Spend 5 HP to aim carefully and fire twice at the same enemy. So he is another strong physical attacker. He only has 6 magic. If we examine Yunoya, our premier magic attacker, she has 14. So he is as good a physical attacker as she is a magical attacker. And she is barely better a physical attacker than he is a magic user. So we're probably not going to give him any of our accessories that grant abilities, unless just to be able to affect everybody. Since his speed is so high, we might go ahead and have him wear the diamond necklace. Put diamond necklace on Cole. So now he has the ability to use an area control ability. So let's look. Now we've got the 4 of us here. Let's see if we can confront this moon beast. To the cavern. Let's go down. The ground trembles as you approach, and a hideous moon beast crawls out of the cave. So, 4 of us. Let's start by going ahead and having Freeman use IRN Fuar on Moon Beast. Oh, IRN Fuar on the Moon Beast. Yeah, okay. Freeman will be casting that spell. Cole should go ahead and dual shot. Or actually, let's have him start by lassoing the Moon Beast. Benizabeth, you should go ahead and let's have her start by scalamanting to lower its attack. And let's have Yunoya go ahead and lower skill with Snoidleblade? Or just straight up Vortex? That's Vortex. Okay. Riemann describes an arcane shape in the air, and chains of ethereal metal rise up to entangle the Moon Beast, but the Moon Beast takes no damage. The Moon Beast rakes Cole with its claws. Cole takes 5 damage. Cole swings his electrolariat around his head a few times and lashes out and strikes the Moon Beast. The Moon Beast shudders violently and its speed decreases. Ebenezer grasps her amulet, and the burning serpent Scalamant erupts into existence. With a vicious roar, he begins to twine himself around the enemy. The Moon Beast takes 2 damage. Then Scalamant nods dutifully at Ebenezer and disappears. Yunoya summons a torrent of water aimed right at the Moon Beast. The Moon Beast takes 7 damage. So I think it has very high magical defense. So we should be better off physically attacking it. Perhaps. Let's test this hypothesis by... let's go ahead and Vex the Moon Beast. Cole will zap the Moon Beast. Ebenezabeth, I want you to go ahead and rapid fire here. And Yunoya, perhaps go ahead and Makani on the Moon Beast to get her speed up. Okay, so Freeman successfully vexed the Moon Beast. Cole takes a shot at the Moon Beast and deals 8 damage. He scritches his chin and smiles a little. The beast's chest heaves and it paws the rocky ground menacingly. The Moon Beast is unable to act. Ebenezer takes aim. Her Colt glows red hot. She fires. Okay, so she's doing 2 damage per shot. So he... Did he get a critical, perhaps? Did a lot better damage, so she only did 6. Yunoi whispers softly, and a current of piercing wind flies into the moon beast, dealing 4 damage. Her speed increases. The creature shakes its head inscrutably. Okay. Ebenezer, I want you to reload. Well, okay, we're human right now. Let's go ahead, and we probably should have gouged in the first place to lower its speed and skill. Cole, I'd like you to Arc of Iris to try and put it to sleep. Eunoia, you can go ahead and sing to not sing, embrace to restore health. And Ebenezer, you need to reload. With a murderous screech, Freeman plunges toward the Moonbeast, aiming at the softest tissue that presents itself. A sickening sound wrenches the battlefield. The Moonbeast takes 7 damage. Its speed decreases and its skill decreases. Cole looks up and 2 vivid rainbows fill the air. The Moonbeast takes no damage from this, nor does it seem to go to sleep. Eunoia spreads her arms wide. Motes of glittering energy float softly through the air. Ebony heals 14. Freeman heals 10. Cole heals 12. The Moonbeast digs its claws into the ground, drawing on the power of Deimos itself. The Moonbeast recovers 15 HP. Ebenezer reloads. Okay. Let us try gouging again. Zapping was quite effective. I think possibly because we got a... We should have scanned in the first place. I don't know why we didn't. Because I forgot. I've such an embarrassment of riches where these abilities are concerned. Let's try... singing, perhaps? And... let's go ahead and flare the Moonbeast. Okay. Freeman successfully gouged for another 7 damage. Coles peers at the Moonbeast through his scouter lens. It's a level 5 entity. Affinity Starlight. 27 of 45 HP remain. 13 attack, 7 defense, 15 magic, 10 resistance. So it is more magically oriented than physically oriented, but it is pretty powerful in both regards. 4 speed, 4 skill. Eunoia closes her eyes, she parts her lips, and syllables of unearthly beauty fill the air. The Moonbeast falls asleep. Ebenezer summons a god of flame and launches it at the Moonbeast. The Moonbeast takes 2 damage. The Moonbeast is asleep. Okay, so Eunoia's speed returns to normal. Let's just go all out physical attacks. Gouging, I think, counts. It's quite effective. Cole should zap. Meteorite might work, but let's go ahead and just shoot. Her magic is so much higher than her physical attack that it's still better for her to continue to do magic. So let's go ahead and Vortex. Okay. 7 more damage from the gouge. Cole aims a shot at the Moonbeast and deals 8. He shrugs modestly. Ebenezer fires and does 4. Eunoia summons a torrent of water aimed right at the Moonbeast. It takes 7. It's asleep still. So we must continue. Gouge. Let's dual shot. Let's shoot. And let's vortex. Okay. With a murderous screech, Freeman plunges toward the Moonbeast, aiming at the softest tissue that presents itself. You hear a spine-curdling crunch. Moonbeast takes 7 damage. Cole raises his photon pistol toward the Moonbeast. He squints down the sight and smiles. "Dunno why I thought this'd be so tough," he mumbles. He fires. The moon beast takes 8 damage. He fires again. The moon beast takes 8 more damage. The beast utters a bone-chilling gurgle and falls. You win. But then the monster rights itself and trudges back into the darkness of its cavern. Fair enough. Okay. Well, let's go down then. To the core of Deimos. The fire at the center of Deimos still burns, albeit feebly. It will die unless someone stays here to tend it. The moon beast is here. You've bested me, it says. Take your prize. And it casts 3 mirror shards at your feet. We take the shards. We talk to the moon beast. Before you can say hello, the moon beast begins. Do you know where those mirror shards come from, little girl? Ages ago, the demon Belial made his workshop in the fires of hell. There he forged a great mirror of immense power, which by his design would magnify in its reflection all that was wicked and worthless, and make invisible all goodness and beauty. He called his invention the Mirror of Truth, and convinced his followers that it showed the true form of its subject, unaltered by an observer's bias. When they saw that the truth of things was so hideous, the demons were very pleased, and Belial laughed long and hard in satisfaction. The devil bade his acolytes carry his creation up into the world to study its reflection in the mirror and discover its real nature. The students of Belial made their mission a comprehensive survey, viewing all of creation in the mirror, and mocking all that they saw. And when all the ugliness of the mortal world had been laid bare, what course remained? Only one, to bear the mirror to heaven, where it would reveal the true nature of God and his angels. So the devils grasped the mirror and beat their webbed wings, and carried the mirror up and up and up. But the mirror of Belial trembled in their claws. The higher they flew, the more the mirror shook, until it slipped out from their grip and fell down to earth, where it shattered into 1,000,000 tiny pieces. The mirror shards dispersed across the world, scattered by the winds like grains of dust. When a shard flew into a creature's eye, that creature would see only the worst in things, as the mirror had reflected, and when a shard flew into a creature's heart, that heart would harden into a lump of ice. You raise your necklace so the moon beast can see. My father has supplied me with these silver phylacteries, which protect their bearers from the mirror shard's evil, you explain. Are you quite sure of that? Asks the moon beast. Fair question. I don't imagine he will have much more to say after this considerable declamation. I apologize for attacking you earlier, you tell the moon beast. I hope you aren't badly hurt. Your concern should be your own welfare, says the moon beast. Fair enough. We examine the core of Deimos. Let us examine the fire. You stare into the moon's flickering heart. Please hold on. My work isn't finished. You are somewhere else. Back to Yardenver, 1467. Flower bed. So, here we are. We are still missing a companion. I don't remember who the next companion is. One leaf rather low to the ground. Seems like an ideal spot to curl up and rest. Let's rest. You stretch out on the leaf and close your eyes. Elizabeth's HP is restored. Eunoia's HP is restored. Freeman's HP is restored. Cole's HP is restored. An odd sound wakes you up. Something scuttling underneath the leaf. Okay. We have Elizabeth reload her revolver. Cole shoves a fresh clip into his photon pistol. Look under leaf. You bend down for look under the leaf. It's concealing the entrance to a tunnel. Okay, we go in. This narrow passage leads up to the surface and east to a larger burrow. You don't get very far before you realize you're surrounded. Okay, we are confronted by a dragonfly assassin, a mosquito warlock, a dung beetle gladiator, and a cricket enchanter. Let's examine the assassin. The assassin wears a black cloak, disappearing into the darkness of the tunnel. Only the occasional glint of his wings betrays his position. Examine the warlock. The mosquito wields a dagger carved with inscrutable symbols. Her hair is cut short, revealing similar glyphs tattooed behind her ear. The gladiator? The gladiator wears thick armor and carries a very big axe. And the enchanter. The cricket is a tiny little thing, wearing a brown mantelet and carrying a fragile-looking staff. Okay. Well, let's see if we can deal with the crowd by shrieking. And then Cole will use the Arc of Iris. Ebenezabeth should Scalamant. And Eunoia should sing. Okay. So, we are using our various abilities against the enemies. Ouch! Ebenezabeth notices a dart lodged in her neck. Ebenezabeth takes 1 damage. Her attack decreases. Her defense decreases. Riemann takes a deep breath. Then he screams louder than any other crow you've ever heard. The dragonfly assassin is unaffected. The mosquito warlock recoils. The dung beetle gladiator flinches. The cricket enchanter recoils. Cole looks up, and a vivid rainbow fills the air. The dragonfly assassin stares into the dazzling light, but doesn't take any damage. The mosquito warlock stares into the dazzling light, but doesn't take any damage. The dung beetle gladiator stares into the dazzling light and takes 6 damage. Then the dung beetle gladiator falls asleep. The cricket enchanter stares into the dazzling light, but doesn't take any damage. So that was rather ineffective. They seem quite high level. The cricket enchanter is unable to act. Ebenezabeth grasps her amulet, and the burning serpent Scalamant erupts into existence. With a vicious roar, he begins to twine himself around the enemy. The dragonfly assassin takes 6 damage. The mosquito warlock takes 6 damage. The dung beetle gladiator takes 12 damage. The dung beetle gladiator's attack decreases. The cricket enchanter takes 2 damage. Okay, so the enchanter is the most resilient against magic, so that's the one I think we want to use our metal ability on. Mosquito warlock is unable to act. Eunoia sings her song. Nobody is very affected. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and try and reduce the magic and resistance of the enchanter. Okay. Cole, I think you should dual shot the warlock. Ebenezabeth, let's go ahead and have you bolster Freeman, I think. And Eunoia will Snoidle Wave. Okay. Something slices at Cole's leg. Cole takes 7 damage. Cole's speed decreases. Freeman describes an arcane shape in the air, and chains of ethereal metal rise up to entangle the cricket enchanter, but the cricket enchanter takes no damage. Cole tries to use dual shot, but doesn't have enough energy. The cricket enchanter hits Freeman with the bumpy end of her staff. Freeman takes no damage. Ebenezabeth raises a hand, wreathed in soft orange flames. The flame leaps toward Freeman. Freeman's attack increases. The warlock thrusts her dagger at Cole. Cole takes 1 damage. Eunoia gestures broadly, and a sea green torrent falls out of the air, crashing violently on the enemy. The dragonfly assassin takes 11, and its skill decreases. The warlock takes 11, and skill decreases. The dung beetle gladiator takes 17 damage, and the cricket enchanter takes 7 damage. The warlock crumples to the ground and coughs up a mirror shard. The gladiator falls to the earth with a huge crunching noise, followed by the tinkling sound of a mirror shard landing nearby. The dung beetle gladiator has fainted. Ebenezabeth's defense returns to normal. So, okay, Cole is hurting rather seriously, and everybody's starting to get a little bit lower. Let's see. Freeman's still pretty good. I know we just bolstered him, so he's well situated to attack. And I think I do want to have him try gouging the dragonfly, because the dragonfly is causing a lot of damage here. Let's have Ebenezabeth shoot the enchanter. Yeah. Okay. Eunoia, I want you to embrace to restore health. And Cole, you are slowed down significantly. You should go ahead and lasso the dragonfly, who's going way too fast. The assassin aims at Freeman's legs, but misses. With a murderous screech, Freeman plunges toward the dragonfly assassin, aiming at the soft tissue that presents itself. Spine-curdling crunch. Dragonfly assassin takes 9 damage, loses speed and skill. Cricket Enchanter waves her something and whispers something you can't hear. The Cricket Enchanter regains 10 HP. Ebenezabeth takes a shot at the Cricket Enchanter and deals 4 damage. Warlock is fainted. Eunoia heals. Cole swings his lariat over his head a few times and lashes out and strikes the Dragonfly Assassin. The Dragonfly Assassin shudders violently and his speed decreases. Gladiator is fated. Okay. That was a good healing effect. We have all of these healing items I completely forgot about. So we could actually restore health that way. Eunoia is at 5, so she needs 13 HP. Let's have Eunoia eat the burrito. Use burrito on Eunoia. Oh, okay. So Freeman will be using the compressed burrito on Eunoia. Interesting. It is still an item. You will still use it as an ability. Okay. Let's have Ebenezabeth shoot the enchanter. Eunoia, go ahead, and you should have enough health by the time your turn comes around to Snoidal Wave. We can't. Nope. Okay. So, instead, Vortex Dragonfly. And Cole, let's go ahead and meteorite the dragonfly. Let's see what that's like. Freeman gives the compressed burrito to Eunoia. Eunoia eats the compressed burrito. It expands to normal burrito size inside Eunoia's mouth. She regains 12 HP. The Cricket Enchanter bops Freeman with her staff. Freeman takes no damage. Ebenezabeth fires the Cricket Enchanter, deals 4 damage. The Cricket wails and staggers backward. The Mosquito Warlock has fainted. Eunoia summons a torrent of water aimed right at the Dragonfly Assassin. The Dragonfly Assassin takes 11 damage. A mirror shard falls from the Dragonfly's eye, and he falls to the ground. Cole tries to cast Meteorite on the Dragonfly Assassin, but the Dragonfly Assassin is unconscious. So everybody is out except for the Enchanter. Let's go ahead and PRN for Enchanter. Flare Enchanter. Vortex Enchanter. And Meteorite Enchanter. Okay. Dragonfly Assassin is fainted. Freeman describes the arcane shape. But the Cricket Enchanter takes damage. Regains 10 health. Okay, yeah, I should have anticipated that his magic defense really is that high, and whatever benefit we're gaining from the locket from the Eron for our spell is not enough to offset its natural defenses. So we're really wasting our energy here, but that's fine. Ebenezabeth summons a gout of flame. It takes 2 damage. It wails and staggers backwards. Torrent of water takes 7 damage. Cole calls down a meteor. The tiny rock barrels into the Cricket Enchanter at terrific speed, but doesn't deal any damage. So yeah, we did not actually harm it very much. But we will peck cricket. We will zap cricket. We will shoot cricket. And we will vortex cricket. Freeman tears into the cricket enchanter with incredible force, dealing 12 damage. Whoa, he caws. What happened? A mirror shard falls from the enchanter's eye. She takes a look around, yelps as she realizes what's going on, and scampers out of the fray. You win. The dragonfly gets to his feet. Thanks for knocking some sense into us, he says. I don't know what got us so turned around. We were supposed to be defending this tunnel from the Queen's forces, says the cricket, not randomly attacking everyone who came through. But we kinda got the bloodlust, the dung beetle adds. Sorry. The mosquito crosses her arms and looks away guiltily. So, yeah, their description is the same. We talk to bugs. We can talk to Dragonfly. The assassin bows deeply. That was really unseemly of us, ambushing you like that. I understand, you say. I think there's something going around. This idea disquiets the dragonfly somewhat, but he doesn't pursue the issue. My name is Ubly, he says, and you shake hands. Talk to the cricket. You say hello to the cricket enchanter, who introduces herself as Treaty. That was a very impressive sleep spell, you tell her. Oh, thanks. I wish I could teach it to you, but it's an old family secret. She seems a little embarrassed. Talk to Dung Beetle. Hello, sir. My name is Ebenezer. Thank you for not killing me. The Dung Beetle laughs nervously. I'm Haggoth, he says. I swear I'm not usually that murderous. You smile and he relaxes a little. And talk to Mosquito, who seems not prone to conversation. You shake hands with the warlock. I'm Lena, she says. Cario hired us to patrol these tunnels, but normally our work is more interesting than that. I'm sure this is very important, though, you say, and she shrugs. We go out. Oh, first we take all, because we needed these 4 mirror shards. Look up to the surface and east to a larger burrow. We go up, we rest, we go in. So we go east to the camp. Okay, so yeah, it's the same destination. We just found 2 different routes to it. One was much more dangerous than the other. Talk to Cario again. Is there anything I can do to help? Cario sighs. One of my fellow knights is in trouble, he says. Nusi, whose post is the eastern entrance to the tunnels. Since this war began, she's gone without her favorite hibiscus nectar. I fear the deprivation has affected her mind. But as to whether you can help, he runs through his hair and shakes his head. Okay, so yeah, we put her to sleep earlier. So if we go east, the alley, and up, lets us fight the Butterfly Knight again. Okay, well, let's just go ahead and flee. Freeman tries to run away, but can't. Cole tries to run away and does. So we go west, west, and up. Let's go east to the Great Tree. Okay. Examine the gate. Beside the inanimate statues, there's nothing stopping you from walking in, so we go in. Inside the tree, an ominous mustiness fills the hollow of the great tree. Spiral stairs are hewn into the living wood, ascending toward a faint orange light that flickers in the tree's dark heights. The stale air mingles with fresher breezes from outside. A graffito is carved in the wall near the bottom of the stairs. We examine the graffito. It says something rude about Queen Majali. Okay. You know, if this place, I've been calling it Gardens or something of that nature, in which case I would assume it's actually Queen Mayali. I am extremely inconsistent with the pronunciation of J's. Let's examine the stairs. There's no railing, and it's a long way down. We can go up or outside. Well, let's go up then. Stairway. You might be about halfway there. A brazier hangs above the center of the tree, suspended by 6 iron chains. Glowing coal in the basin shed an unhelpful orange light. A bead of golden sap glistens on the wall nearby. We examine the sap. It's a drop of the great tree's lifeblood. Use it on a fainted ally to revive them with full HP. We take the sap. This is not the nectar. This is different. We continue up to the hive gate. The top of the stairway is open to the air among the strongest branches of the great tree. A palatial hive has been constructed in the crook of the nearest branch. 2 bee guards stand at its entrance. Below you are the fields of Yardenver, a dizzying expanse of flowers. We examine the guards. The bee enforcer or the bee sentinel? Examine the enforcer. The larger guard goes mostly without armor, preferring to impress intruders with his muscles. His spear is equally intimidating. Can we scan him? You can't use that ability outside of combat. Okay, fair enough. Examine sentinel. The sentinel wears a simple breastplate over her white tunic. Other than her spear, she doesn't look much like her statue counterpart at the foot of the tree. Okay. Yep, okay. The top of the stairway is open to the air. In? The guards close in on you as you approach the gate. Stop right there, the big one says. So you stop. We're authorized to use force to deter any intruders, says the small one. I have no intent of entering without permission, you say. But by this point, the guards already have the idea of using force on their minds. So, here we are once more against the bee enforcer and the bee sentinel. The enforcer seems more imposing, and the sentinel... Let's see if we can scan them. While we do so, I'm going to have Freeman should vex the enforcer. Cole should scan the enforcer. Ebenezabeth, you can reload. Eunoia, I would like you to sing the enemies to sleep. Freeman's vexing does not cause the enforcer to flinch. The enforcer tosses his spear into the air. He flies up to catch it, and then the bee and his stinger rocket down into Ebenezabeth, dealing 16 damage. Ebenezabeth closes her eyes and shakes it off. That was dramatic. Okay. It is only a level 3 enforcer, though, despite his extremely powerful attack. 14 attack, 9 defense, 8 magic, 7 resistance, 15 speed, 14 skill. Okay. The bee sentinel raises her arms and hundreds of tiny vines burst from the ground. Ebenezabeth takes 10 damage. Eunoia takes 9 damage. Freeman takes 9 damage. Cole takes 12 damage. Oh, this could be a problem. Eunoia closes her eyes. She parts her lips and syllables of unearthly beauty fill the air. The bee enforcer falls asleep. The bee sentinel is unaffected. Okay. So yeah, Ebenezabeth and Eunoia and Cole are all in single-digit health. Freeman is doing a little better, but... So let's go ahead and have him gouge the sentinel. Eunoia does have enough health to heal everyone, so I'm just going to have Cole go ahead and zap the sentinel. Ebenezabeth, you should shoot the sentinel. And Eunoia, you will embrace. With a murderous screech, Freeman plunges toward the bee sentinel, aiming at the softest tissue that presents itself. Takes 8 damage, loses speed and skill. The bee enforcer wakes up. Cole raises his photon pistol toward the bee sentinel. Nothing personal, you understand. He pulls the trigger. A wad of hypercharged photons explodes out of the barrel straight into the bee sentinel. 18 damage. The sentinel thrusts her spear at Eunoia. Eunoia takes 7 damage. Eunoia staggers. This isn't as fun as I thought it would be. She falls to the ground. Ebenezabeth takes a shot at the bee sentinel and deals 3 damage. Eunoia has fainted. Well, this is getting rough. Okay, I guess we're going to go ahead and use our most powerful healing item on Ebenezabeth with Freeman. That would be... Well, okay, a pepperoni pizza would probably be the best option, but I don't know that we're going to be able to get more of those, so we might want to save those. Let's instead use the jellied egg. Use jellied egg on Ebenezabeth. Cole, I want you to continue shooting the Sentinel. Ebenezabeth, I want you to... I don't think you've got enough health to use the... Oh, right. It's the various breads that can be replenished. I am consuming limited use items, but that's fine. Use bread on Cole. Unoi is unconscious. Riemann gives the jellied egg to Ebenezabeth. Ebenezabeth eats the jellied egg. It's actually really tasty. She gains 10 HP. The Enforcer flexes his triceps. Cole fires his photon pistol at the bee sentinel, deals 9 damage. The sentinel collapses. A mirror shard lands nearby. Ebenezabeth gives the banana nut bread to Cole. Cole eats the bread. The nuts aren't so bad. Cole gains 9 HP. The bee sentinel has fainted. Okay, so that was good. Now we can... let's go ahead and gouge with... Okay, so with 3 men, Unoya is unconscious. I want to use Ebenezabeth to restore Unoya to health, but that's going to be costing her some health of her own. That's fine, though. Let's go ahead and try vexing this guy once more. We vex the Enforcer. We should lasso to slow this guy down, maybe. B, Enforcer. And then finally, let us revive Unoya. Riemann descends upon the bee Enforcer, cawing and flapping and squawking wildly. It doesn't flinch. It rattles his spear and grunts ferociously. Its attack increases. Cole swings his electro lariat over his head a few times and lashes out and strikes the bee Enforcer. The bee Enforcer shudders violently and his speed decreases. The sentinel has fainted. Ebenezabeth focuses intensely, and a fiery halo envelops Unoya. Unoya gets back up with 9 HP. Okay. Well, we're back in the fight to some degree. Riemann, can you make this guy even more prone to magical weakness? Enforcer. Cole, you have 13 HP. You can dual shot the Enforcer. Ebenezabeth, I would like you to go ahead and shoot the Enforcer. And Unoya, I'd like you to go ahead and embrace. Okay. Riemann describes an arcane shape in the air. Chains of ethereal metal rise up to entangle, but he Enforcer takes no damage. I am really in love with that ability, despite how little it has done for me in terms of actually accomplishing anything. Cole is shooting, dealing 12. Great. The Sentinel is fainted. Enforcer continues bolstering his attack, which is a little scary. Ebenezabeth lands a hit, but deals no damage. Ebenezabeth, Freeman, and Cole all gain HP back. Okay. So, Freeman, go ahead and use the hibiscus on Unoya. Cole, you're going to carry us through this, it seems like. You need to dual shot the Enforcer. Ebenesmith, you didn't get anything from shooting him, so let's try flaring. Or perhaps scalamanting. Scalamant. Eunoia. Let's go ahead and have a vortex on the Enforcer. Okay. Eunoia eats the hibiscus beignet. It's so light and fluffy, she gains 7 HP. Cole raises his pistol. Once again does 6 damage twice. The Sentinel's fainted. Enforcer stabs at Cole, deals 10 damage. Cole stumbles back a bit and coughs. Ebenesmith grasps her amulet, and the burning serpent Scalamant erupts into existence. With a vicious roar, he begins to twine himself around the enemy. Enforcer takes 3 damage. Disappears. Eunoia summons a torrent of water aimed right at the Bee Enforcer. The Bee Enforcer takes 10 damage. The Enforcer falls to his knees, and a shimmering mirror shard falls from his brow. You win. The guards indicate their surrender, and you help them to their feet. I don't know what came over us, says the Sentinel. I feel like I'm coming out of a fog. The Enforcer tries to shake whatever it is out of his head. Everyone's been acting weird lately, he says. Her Highness more than anybody. Maybe you can knock some sense into her, little girl. I hope it doesn't come to that, you mutter doubtfully. Take all. We've got the shards. We talk to the Enforcer. He stiffens at your approach. Little girl, I apologize for attempting to thrash you. You smile disarmingly. Talk to the Sentinel. Hello, little girl, the Sentinel says, smiling. Thank you for beating us up so thoroughly. You don't know how to respond to this. We're going to go back down to the west. Out west. We're going to go ahead and rest on this leaf. And we need to check out that brazier. Because I want to replenish our healing items. You look into the brazier where tiny flames dance among the coals. Carefree, blissful, weightless. You want to join the dance. You can't help but join the dance. Your feet carry you over the edge of the stairs and you fall into blackness. Back to Finland, 1848. Cole shivers, scratches his chin. I've seen worse, he says. Okay. Examine the fire. Cole whistles when we get to Honolulu. I think I saw a picture of this place once. We go east and south and east to the bakery. Take all from the counter. Yep, we replenished those 2 healing items. Okay, how to get back where we had been. From Hawaii, we can get to the fire. Fire pit takes us to Deimos. Okay, I think we want to go back to Wessex, so we need the torches on the beach. So that's not where I type commands. I type them over here. South to the lawn. Okay. Nope. Further south to the beach. Okay. You know, it never occurred to me that I could actually just collect all the drinks and then come back for more later. But I probably should have done that before I traveled to Wessex if that was the plan. Here, Cole gets out a handkerchief and wipes his neck. Let's go southeast. Let's go in. We'll talk to the doctor. Hello, you say, and the doctor only glances at you. I thought you might like to know that I've taken care of those Northmen. Thank goodness. Did you leave any of them alive? Please say you didn't. They're all alive. They were only acting so unreasonable because of the mirror shards that had hardened their hearts and skewed their perspectives. When I rid them of the mirror shards, they became much less violent and promised to stop harassing your village. The doctor shakes her head and waves you away. Nothing you're saying makes any sense, and I have a lot of work to do. Goodbye. Fair enough. Talk to the man. The bandaged man. Freeman would rather you didn't talk to this guy. That's right. I forgot about that. Okay, to the northeast, and again, then east, and then northeast. And then let's examine the fire, which brings us back to Yardenver. We go east, in, up, up. Let's save. Really, we should save this as April. Okay. Enter gate. Golden Hall. The walls of the palace glisten with currents of honey, filling the chamber with warmth and infusing the alabaster statuary with an amber luster, but the great hall is empty. The rest of the hive lies to the west. Examine the honey. Honey flows over every surface, shining like molten gold. Let's examine the statuary. Somewhat larger than life, the statues depict bee royalty going back at least a dozen generations. In pride of place is Queen Majali, posed with hands clasped, with eyes cast downward in humility. A cushioned bench at her feet looks like an excellent spot for rest. We were so close to a resting spot, but we'll continue to the west. To the Nectar Hoard. What was once a magnificent gallery is now stuffed with hundreds of barrels of nectar. A bee accountant trudges among the casks, scribbling on a notepad. Honey flows over a grand stairway leading up to the throne room. The rest of the hive is east. Let's examine this accountant. The gray-haired bee rubs his temples at intervals, understandably overwhelmed by the task at hand. Let's talk to accountant. The accountant doesn't seem to notice you, so you utter a tiny hello. Hello yourself, says the bee. I was intentionally ignoring you so as not to interrupt my work. Now I've lost my place and I'll have to start over it. Oh, it's useless. What is it you want? I understand there's some trouble with the queen, you tell him. An astonishingly asinine simplification. Yes, there is some trouble. Our beloved Queen Majali, overcome by inexplicable avarice, has taken to levying absurd taxes on nectar, confiscating any reserves she can get her hands on, and stockpiling the acquisitions here for enumeration, indexing, and inevitable spoilage. Maybe I could try talking to her. No, says the accountant. That is to say, you're welcome to try, but you'll fail. Her Majesty's state is one of extreme paranoia, which, when agitated, gives way to violence. Rather than run the risk of provoking such an attack, may I suggest you go away? You smile. Yes, you may. Let's examine the nectar. Each barrel is stamped with its contents: tulip, sunflower, crocus, orchid. Well, despite the recommendation, we are not going to be taking it. We are going to examine the stairway and then ascend. A river of honey cascades down the stairs, very, very slowly. Up to the throne room. The Queen of Yardenver sits on her golden throne, surrounded by fountains of honey. She stares at you silently. The rest of the palace is downstairs. How many mirror shards do I have at this point? I have 12. I think before we continue with, I bet we can probably get through the queen fight, but I would like to redeem these 4 drinks to give myself predictable level ups. Eventually, first I'm going to have everybody take 1 shard. So she gains max HP, attack, and speed. Cole gains attack and resistance. Freeman gains, max HP, attack, defense, magic, speed, and skill. Again, Ebenezabeth, you gotta stop pressing your luck like this. Yeah, okay, fair point. But before I do, use shard on Eunoia. Okay. You insert the mirror shard into Eunoia's phylactery. Eunoia levels up. Max HP +1, speed +1. Her nose twitches. This is quite unacceptable. I insist you undo and try that again. I knew this was an option, but I figured, we'll probably be fine even if we just take what chance gives us. But who am I to refuse a request from Eunoia? Okay, yeah, even worse. Did I? Oops. Undo twice. Okay, there we go. Okay, I suppose this will have to suffice. You don't. We can be a little pickier. There we go. You insert the mirror shard into Yunoi's phylactery. She levels up. Max HP, magic resistance, skill. She rolls her eyes. That's fine, I guess. Okay. That's funny. Let's go ahead and confirm I should have 8 mirror shards. I do. So, let us confront the queen. Majoli's in full armor and carries Brise, an ancient spear that is the emblem of Yardenver's royal family. She looks nothing like a queen except for the glass tiara on her brow. That's, I know it's French. Mayali? Let's see. Oh my goodness. Twice broken. Okay. Well, that's what I'll be calling it. So she has twice broken. Talk to the queen. Your Majesty, you begin, curtsying. The queen rises. You will not speak in my presence, assassin. I have no intention. Silence. Your sentence is death. I will carry it out myself. She lifts her spear. Okay, so Ebenezer has 30 HP now. Wow. Okay. We should have reloaded our ammunition, but that's fine. We're going to go ahead and start by gouging the queen. Let's scan the queen. Have Ebenezer reload. And have Eunoia go ahead and Makani to accelerate. Queen. Whoa! Looks like we accidentally turned on speed mode. I didn't mean to do that. The queen gestures imperiously, and a bee bodyguard rushes into the throne room. With a murderous screech, Freeman plunges toward Holly, aiming at the soft tissue that presents itself. You hear something spurting. She takes 6 damage, loses speed and skill. Cole peers through his scouter lens. She has 50 HP total. 13 attack, 9 defense, 11 magic, 6 resistance, 13 speed, 9 skill, wearing a glass tiara. So, okay, she has 9 defense and 6 resistance, so magic is a little better, but not enough for us to use our poorly aligned abilities. Okay. Yeah, that was good. Let's go ahead and gouge queen. We'll have Cole, dual shot queen. Eunoia, you should I don't know that Sing causes damage. Let's just go ahead and Vortex the queen. And have Ebenezer rapid fire queen. I wonder, can she bolster herself? Don't think she can. Yeah, she can't use that ability on herself. That's fine. We'll just go ahead and rapid fire queen. With a murderous screech, Raymond plunges toward Queen Majoli, aiming at the soft tissue that presents itself. She takes 6 more damage, loses speed and skill. Cole raises his photon pistol, squints down the sight and smiles. Gets a critical hit, takes 7 damage twice. Eunoia summons a torrent of water, aimed right at the queen. She takes 12 damage. Queen gestures imperiously, and a bee chef rushes into the throne room. Ebenezer takes aim at the queen. Her colt glows red hot. She does 6 damage 6 times, a total of 36 damage, causing Queen Mihaly to collapse. The glass tiara twinkles as a mirror shard falls to the floor. You win. Once the queen has recovered, you explain the situation. We believe the Snow Queen manipulated you to bring about a nectar shortage in the kingdom of Etlaknach, you tell her. This gave her the leverage she needed to extort the Spider Lords for their indestructible silks. I have been a fool, Queen Mihaly says. She looks down at the glass tiara and sighs. And my foolishness has brought Yardenver to the brink of destruction. I must abolish the whole slate of nectar laws immediately. You place your hand on hers. Your Majesty, you can't. If the embargo is lifted, the Snow Queen will only take more drastic measures to maintain her control, and if she realizes we're aware of her plans... The Queen nods. Please don't take any action until I've put a stop to her, you say. Only try to avoid any engagement with the resistance. There's no need for any more violence in Yardenver. Mihaly considers all this. You are a wise little girl, Ebenezabeth. Yardenver owes you a great debt for your counsel. Here, she hands you the tiara. You should be able to use this without fear of the Snow Queen now that the mirror shard has been removed. I wish I could lend you the spear twice broken as well, but a law beyond the powers of a queen forbids it. You curtsy deeply and thank the queen for her kind assistance. So, examine the glass tiara as etched with intricate snowflake figures. I don't remember if we have someone who is ice-aligned, but it's almost certainly going to be magical, so put tiara on Eunoia. She gains the Enfrosten ability. Let's examine Eunoia. She has Affinity Water. She's wearing, like, crowns upon crowns, basically. And Frosten, spend 5 HP to freeze an enemy and sharply lower its defense. Okay, that's good. Take shard. Talk to the queen once more. I entreat you, Ebenezabeth, for Yardenver's sake, vanquish the Snow Queen before my kingdom crumbles. You have my word, your majesty. Okay, can we get nectar? We probably can from the accountant, so let's go down to the nectar hoard. What was once a magnificent gallery is now stuffed with hundreds of barrels of nectar. A bee accountant trudges among the casks, scribbling on a notepad. Let's talk to the accountant now. You fill the accountant in on the most recent developments. I see, he says. So, functionally, nothing has changed. I'm afraid not, you say. Can we take nectar? That's not for you to carry around. No, we cannot. Okay. Well, we continue down. Oh, we go up. No, down east to the Golden Hall. Now we go out and down. And down. South, out, west, in, east. Talk to Cario. She's gone without her favorite hibiscus nectar. I wonder if the hibiscus bagnette would be of use then. I do still have it. We rest, we reload, we save. Overwrite. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Let's continue on to the east and out. This Butterfly Knight should be no challenge now. Let's go ahead and gouge, dual shot, Scalamit, and Enfrosten. Okay. Our usual abilities are quite effective. That was all there. Use Hibiscus on Knight. You pass the bayonet beneath the knight's nose, her eyes open. She snatches the pastry out of your hands and devours it noisily. She's like an animal, but then she slows down and her eyes seem to focus. She stands up. Thank you, she says. A curse of hunger was upon me. That doesn't excuse my behavior, but if not for your help, I may have brought even more disgrace on myself and my order. I am Nusi. What is your name, little girl? The knight nods gravely as you finish your tale. These are dire times, she says, but you've given me a perfect opportunity to repay your kindness. Let me fight at your side, Ebenezabeth. I would appreciate that very much, Lady Nusi. You pull a silver phylactery out of your pocket. Nusi lowers her head, and you drape the chain around her neck. Nusi joins your party. So, examine Nusi. Butterfly Knight level 1. Affinity Rainbow. Okay. She's got 22 HP, 11 attack, 7 defense, magic 8, resistance 4, speed 7, skill 10. This is a little premature because we're just going to use a bunch of shards on her, and she'll have different abilities. So, her delicate wings might seem to be at odds with her heavy armor and deadly iridescent broadsword, but she handles all these assets with equal confidence. Use shard on Lucy. Gained 3 stats. She smiles reassuringly. As expected, she gained the glaive ability. She casts a metal-aligned spell summoning a huge blade. Ooh, this is better. HP, defense, magic, speed, and skill up. That should do nicely, she says. She might be smiling a little. She learned the Inspire ability. Spend 6 HP to raise your allies' attack and defense temporarily. Again, max HP, attack, defense, magic, and skill. She gives you a real smile. That's not bad at all, she says. And once more. She clicks her tongue quietly. We can make that work. Well, let's undo and use shard on Nusi. There we go. You insert the mirror shard into Nusi's phylactery. Nusi levels up. HP, attack, defense, magic, speed. Fate is treating me far too kindly, she says, but she doesn't seem to mind. Nusi learned the Castigate ability. Spend 9 HP to deal a debilitating blow to an enemy, dealing damage and lowering the target's attack, defense, magic, and resistance, which is fantastic. So now she's level 5 with 25 HP, 13 attack, 11 defense, 12 magic, 4 resistance, 10 speed, 12 skills. So magic defense is a major weakness for her. Let's let's examine Eunoia. She is wearing the Flux Torque, which grants the No, she's not. It's cold. It's got the rainbow ability. Cole has the Arc of Iris. It's a rainbow spell that deals damage and puts enemies to sleep. Since we have an actual rainbow affinity character, put necklace on Lucy. That was the serpent amulet. Put serpent amulet on Ebenezabeth. Put diamond necklace on Lucy. Okay, let's reload. Let's go out to the west. Okay, so we're at the stump. How is this tree chopped down, you ask, but Lucy shakes her head urgently and you drop the subject. Oh, nope, this is the stump. We go east to the flower bed. We rest here. Okay, everybody's HP is restored. We had something else. We had a serpent amulet, banana nut bread, some syrup of life, 5 mirror shards, a giant net, a jade skull, a pepperoni pizza, a slice of paper, a desiccated tofu. Okay. Let's examine me. Scalamant, good. Okay, yep. Examine Freeman. Spend 3 HP to cast a metallic spell on one enemy. Well, as long as we're casting a spell. Freeman is not much of a caster. Let's put Bangle on Eunoia. Okay. His affinity is death. I don't think we have any death-aligned items. Cole is not wearing anything now. And Eunoia is wearing a bunch. Rusty Bangle, the Glass Tiara, the Assistant Manager's Pin, and the Flux Torque. She has speed 10, same as... She's very low defense. Trying to decide what we want to do in terms of using our last shards. I think we want to exchange them for the drinks from our witch friend. So let's go east to the Great Tree, in to the Hollow of the Great Tree. Is it supposed to be hollow, you ask Nusi? She shrugs. Always has been, for as long as I can remember at least. But the tree has been around longer than anybody else, so... We go up. We go up. I suppose I should have tried to get through this one with Nusi in my party. We've made things harder on ourselves by not having her, and she may have commented on aspects of her local politics if she had been with us at the time, but so be it. We go out. No. In. Yeah, to the Golden Hall. The rest of the hive lives to the west. Be accountant up. Here's the queen. Yep. Much friendlier, much more royal. Okay. I think we have now reached the point where we need to confront the... Okay, first we need to get back to Wessex, and then we need to clear out Finland. So let's go east, down, east, down, outside, to the Hive Gate. Okay, right. This part of the Great Tree is actually in the open. This is the reason I've been struggling with this area so much, is I don't really have a good internal map of this. And so this Hive Gate is in the open air, overlooking the fields of Yardenver. I forgot about that. Okay. We go down, and now we examine the brazier. Okay. Back to Finland. To the hinge. Lucy points up at the castle. Is that it? She asks. You nod. Her eyes narrow. She doesn't seem to notice the cold. Well, you're the boss, but I say we barge in there and bust some heads. And we will, but first we need to go back to Wessex, which is obtainable from the mausoleum to the southeast. Okay, here's the mausoleum. We go in. We go. Before we transport ourselves, let's go down into the crypt. The violet light carries just far enough to cast thick, bluish shadows across this room. The stairway's the only exit. A rough-hewn sarcophagus lies at the far end of the chamber. You get up to some real fun stuff, little miss, says Cole. Say, Cole, there's a typo there. Open sarcophagus. Well, first let's save April. Yep. Okay, we are going to open sarcophagus. You position yourself at the side of the sarcophagus, trying to find some leverage. Hey, says Nusi, putting a gentle hand on your shoulder. Let me take care of that. And with strikingly less gentle hands, she grapples the stone lid and heaves it to one side. You recognize the body inside the sarcophagus and reach for your revolver. Waxy fingers reach for the edges of the coffin, and the corpse stands up. He runs a desiccated tongue over his colorless lips, his crooked fangs. Ebenezer Scrooge, he says. How long has it been? Almost 500 years, I think. The vampire Cavelipaco escaped you in 1349 at the height of the Black Death, But for you, the failed assignment was only a few months ago. I'm glad someone managed to seal you away. Stupid girl. You were the one who sealed me here. Contemptible time traveler. But if this is an earlier encounter for you, things should go considerably better for me. You raise your weapon. So, here's the five of us against Kavelapaco. He seems like, despite being a vampire, he has a lot of magical coding, so I feel as though he is likely to be very resistant to magic. But let's begin by gouging. Yeah, we can just gouge vampire. Okay. Cole, I think you want to go ahead and scan him. Benizabeth. Let's go ahead and start with the Scalamant. Eunoia. I want you to Enfrosten. Vampire. And Nusi. We can spend 9 HP to deal a debilitating blow to an enemy, dealing damage and lowering the target's attack, defense, magic, and resistance. We're going to go ahead and start with a Castigate. Nusi will be castigating. With a murderous screech, Freeman plunges toward Kavelapaco, aiming at the soft tissue that presents itself. He takes 8 damage, loses speed and skill. Cole peers at him through his scouter lens. He's only level 4, so this guy, we've actually... we're a little overmatched for him, considering he is weaker than the queen that we've defeated. He only had 28 HP. 10 attack, 7 defense, 12 magic, 10 resistance, 3 speed, 8 skill. So he does have decent defense and resistance. Resistance more so physical attacks are superior. He takes 2 damage from the Scalamant invocation. Eunoia stares at him. Wisps of frost snake through the air. He shivers involuntarily. A tendril of frost lunges across the battlefield and constructs itself around him, dealing 5 damage. You need to be taught a lesson, Nusi grumbles. Her wings flutter, and she leaps into the air. At the apex of her jump, she brandishes her sword, aiming its tip at Kavelapaco. Stay right there, she whispers. Her wings flutter again, and she plummets sword first into Kavelapaco. Kavelapaco takes 10 damage. Attack decreases, defense decreases, magic decreases, resistance decreases. Nusi lands on her own 2 feet again, a little out of breath. Kavelapaco digs his fangs into Eunoia's neck. Eunoia takes 4 damage, and he regains 2 HP. Okay. Well, that was a fairly effective first round, but now that we know he is weak to physical, we can just simply gouge and dual shot and shoot and stab and slice. So, we start with the gouge. He takes 11 damage this time. Cole does a double shot, 12 damage twice, which is enough. The vampire coughs. He stumbles. Flames are licking at his feet. He looks up, glares at you, his eyes flashing gold. You're one stupid little girl, Ebenezabeth. If you keep hunting down vampires, we'll start hunting you. We've joined forces before. But the flames have reached his shoulders, and now they're engulfing his head. You win. A jeweled medallion falls out of the air, landing on a pile of ashes. We examine the medallion. A gold medallion set with a large ruby. Kavelapaco must have drawn some of his power from this. We take it. We're going to put it on Freeman. Freeman gains the vampire ability. Examine him. Spend 3 HP to summon a deathly force to suck the life energy from an enemy. Yeah, that makes sense. It is death-aligned. Okay. Well, that was excellent. Let's reload. And let's look at the ash. Kavelapaco's long career of terror and suffering is over. We go up. Yeah, he misunderstood the time travel. It may be new, earlier in Ebenezabeth's time span, but that doesn't mean he's guaranteed to survive the encounter, since this could be our last encounter with him. Let's examine the Violet Fire. That brings us to Wessex. So, Lucy squints at the bugs for a moment, but then she decides to ignore them. She is a bug herself, so she should have some opinions about them. We continue to the northeast and the east, and then the southeast to the Stilt House. We climb an untrustworthy-looking ladder. We go up to the apothecary. The smell of burnt hair fills this room, where everything is tilted slightly to one side. On the shelves are earthen jars, glass bottles, and hollow gourds, all propped up against rocks or sticks so they don't tip over. Yellowin stands at a respectful distance, waiting for you to ask a question or make a purchase. Let's talk to her. Eunoia rushes up to clasp Yellowin's hand. You must be the one who concocted that marvelous potion. I'm unspeakably grateful to you, my dear. Look. She shows off the legs. Very nice, Yellowin says. And you don't know it, but you've done a favor for a princess. Yes, my father is Poseidon, Lord of Merfolk, King of Atlantis. That makes me a very valuable client, wouldn't you say? Yellowin blinks. That's funny. The safest thing might be to keep Eunoia away from this woman. That is a fair point. Let's examine our drinks. Oh, they're not drinks. Let me examine the jars. Right. We have the healthy, the mighty, the shielding, the dryling, the whistling, the crafty, and the Olfrost. I think permanently increases drinker speed by 3. I think our best bet is to accelerate Eunoia, and I kind of want to just shore up everybody's worst characteristics. So, Eunoia, she has 19 HP, 7 attack, 3 defense, 15 magic, 9 resistance, 10 speed, 11 skill. Raymond has 16 speed, so he's pretty consistently one of the first to move, and he only has a 16 speed. So that's a good sense of our range. Ebenezabeth has 12 speed, so if Ebenezabeth does not take a speed drink, Eunoia will be moving faster when it comes to her turns. Okay. Well, that's fine. Maybe we just want to get speed drinks for everyone. No, we want potency. That's what we need. So let's purchase Mytig. It'll be 1 mirror shard, says Yellowin. Will you pay 1 mirror shard? Yes. You hand over the mirror shard, and Yellowin hides it away in one of 100 little containers. Enjoy, she says. Use Mighty on Ebenezabeth. She quaffs the mighty drink. It tastes like battery acid. Her attack increases. She gives it to herself. That isn't available. Okay. All right, so she now has 13 attack. And okay, that looks good. Now, let's see what we need to do with Cole. Cole has 17 HP, 16 attack, 8 defense, 6 magic, 6 resistance, 14 speed, 15 skill. So he's pretty fast and skilled. He's very effective at attacking with his dual shot. I just feel like he is prone to running out of health. So, examine jars. We want to buy a healthy drink for him, I think. We buy 1. Use the healthig on Cole. Cole quaffs the healthy drink. It doesn't taste like anything. His max HP increases. His HP is maxed out. And then Ebenezer gives it to him. Interesting. Okay. Next, Freeman. You are pretty effective at gouging. You've got plenty of health. You're fast. You would maybe be a little better at attacking more. I like the fact that you're able to vex. Defense of 8 and resistance of 8 and magic 5, speed 16, skill 18. I think we just want to go ahead and bolster attack for Freeman because ultimately we just wind up using him to gouge. So let's purchase another mighty. Oh, there are not multiples. Examine jars. We have the shielding. We go out. We go back up. Examine the jars. Yep, okay. Nope. So, let's go ahead. We know we want the Ophos drink. Well, let's take one more look at Yunoi, actually, because she only has 3 defense. I think rather than having her move faster, we really want her to survive better, which means we need to purchase the shielding. Yeah, increases defense by 3. Purchase shielding. Yes. Use it on Eunoia. It's minty, but very hard to swallow. Her defense increases. Okay. We should only have 1 shard left. No, we have 2 shards left. Did we used HP on Cole. That's right. Freeman. We're going to buy attack for Freeman, but we could not because we've already used it on Ebenezabeth. So let's look at Nusi. Nusi has 25 HP, 13 attack, 11 defense, 12 magic, 4 resistance. So her issue is that she will fall to spell casting. So let's see what jars we have. We have Wislick, I think. Resistance by 3. Purchase Wislick. Yep. Use Wislick on Nusi. It's very spicy. Oh dear. But her resistance increases. Okay. So, what does that leave us with? We've got Drylick, Craftic, and Ophost. Drylick increases magic. Craftig increases skill. Let's remind ourselves of exactly what benefits skill conveys. How each stat works. No, come back. Where did that go? Interesting. Okay. Now, oh, I was already there. That's why. I was already at the right location, so I thought the table of contents wasn't working, but we're here. Okay, skill has a chance out of 100 that unit has of scoring a critical hit with their normal attack action. A critical hit deals double the damage normal hit would. A defending unit whose speed is higher than the attacker's skill has a chance of evading an attack entirely. This applies to normal attacks and simple spells, but certain more powerful abilities aren't subject to this calculation. Okay, so skill is good. He's already got a very high skill, but maybe we want it to be even higher. Because his magic is so bad that it's kind of a waste of energy to have him try using magic. So I think we purchase Craftig. Yes. Use Craftig on Freeman. It's so bitter. He gags horribly, but his skill increases. Okay, now we are out of mirror shards. So, Look. We go out. Northwest. Southwest. To the Longhouse? No. Northeast and the Ruined Tower. Not Topper, Tower. Go west here to the Burned Ruin. Examine Ruin. Examine the corner. Okay, that takes us to Deimos. All right. Lucy stares up at the stars. She is speechless. Let's go north. To the pasture. East. To the barn. Cole shrugs. Yeah, it doesn't look like much, does it? We go east to the house. We go in. And we rest. And we reload. We examine the fire. So now we are at Finland. We are going to take out all of the guys in the surrounding areas and then go into the castle. Okay. Northwest. To the northwest is Dark Forest. Your shores, unsteady light can't penetrate the trees. Nothing here. South, there's nothing here. Southeast is the wasteland. Northeast is the mausoleum. North is the lake's edge. The polar bear. Examine polar bear. The bear's fur glitters under the blue aurora. Let's talk to him. The polar bear growls. Then it gallops toward you, baring its fangs. Bear, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. Let's start by vexing the bear and scanning the bear and flaring the bear and enfrostening the bear and castigating the bear. Remit descends upon the polar bear. The polar bear is thoroughly distracted. It is a level 1 apex predator, so we are going to totally wreck this bear's business. It was a water affinity, 16 HP, 12 attack, 5 defense, 4 magic, 4 resistance, 9 speed, 9 skill. Ebenezer summons a god of flame and launches it. It takes 8. It roars its huge head. It shakes its huge head and roars angrily. Eunoia stares at the polar bear, wisps of frost snake through the air. It's cast in pale blue for a moment. A tendril of frost lunges across the battlefield and constricts itself around the bear, dealing 11. Its defense decreases. It falls on its side. A mirror shard tumbles to the snow. Then it gets to its feet and hurries away. You win. Okay. Reload. So this is the northeast. Let's go southwest. Southwest in rest. Out north, northeast. Here is the palace. The walls are hewn from drifted snow. Tall doors, sculpted out of the cutting wind, stand open before you. The palace of the Snow Queen is immense and magnificent and lifeless. We should be very careful, Eunoia says. Father will be deeply disappointed with you if something in there manages to kill me. The tundra goes on to the southeast, south, and southwest. Examine palace. You can't take it all in at once. The walls. Yep. Let's save. And let's go north. Antechamber. The wind stops. Outside, snow is blowing. Inside, the air is deathly still. Tall columns of chiseled snow lead north, deeper into the palace. Too dang symmetrical for my taste, Cole mutters. Columns. We examine them. The snow is smooth and lustrous as a marble statue. We continue north, deeper into the palace. The Great Hall. The castle is enormous. This hall might be a mile long. The ceiling might be a mile high. In the center of the hall is a frozen lake. its surface broken into 1,000 pieces. More of the palace lies to the north and south. Examine the lake. From the edge of the frozen lake, you can see cracks in the ice splitting, intersecting, slowly shifting. The fractal patterns in the mirror of reason are converging by infinitesimal degrees toward the Escalus manifold. So, Freeman shivers. So, tell me again what the Escalus manifold is? An historical singularity, you explain. A point at which the mundane universe is congruent to the world of forms, or heaven of archetypes. Why does the Snow Queen want this manifold so badly, Eunoia asks you. Doesn't look like very much. This is still an approximation. If she entered a true Escalus manifold, the Snow Queen would become identical to her ideal form and, hypothetically, achieve omniscience. Oh, says Eunoia, very quietly. Cole runs a finger over the fracture and whistles. That's pretty danged precise for an approximation, he says. Reckon she'll get it with intolerances inside of a week or so. Nusi is far from impressed. There's no way this little experiment is worth all the suffering she's created. We need to put a stop to this. I never bothered to get new healing items, but I think it'll be okay. So, the Mirror of Reason. The mirror that Belial brought was the Mirror of Truth. We look again. We go north. Well, let's examine ceiling. You can't tell how high it is. There's no frame of reference. Yeah, we go north. Grand stair. A halo of cold blue light reveals that you are at the bottom of a huge stairway, but the top of the stairs are in darkness, as is the hall to the south. Examine the halo. You wonder how long the light has been following you. Interesting. That's suggesting that she's been with us all along. Watching. We go up. You might be halfway there. It's impossible to tell. The snow-carved stairs are so broad you could stretch out on them and take a rest if you really needed to. We really ought to stop here, Eunoia says. These legs seem to be very upset about how many stairs there are. No point hurrying, says Nusi. That Snow Queen isn't going anywhere. So they're really implying that we should go ahead and rest here. So, let's do that. You lie down, positioning yourself so that no exposed skin is touching the cold floor, and then you try your best to relax. Ebeneza's HP is restored. Eunoia's HP is restored. Nusi's HP is restored. Freeman's HP is restored. Cole's HP is restored. We reload. Ebenezer reloads her revolver. Cole shoves a fresh clip into his photon pistol. We save. We overwrite. We walk to the Blizzard Gate. At the top of the seemingly infinite staircase are the doors to the Snow Queen's throne room. The massive portal might be even bigger than the palace's entrance. 2 hulking creatures of elemental cold guard the Blizzard Gate, the Frost Golem Srehalon and the Wind Golem Zahodin. We examine the golems. Srehalon is a colossal creature carved from living frost. She carries 2 crooked ice daggers, each one longer than you are tall. Zahodin is a gigantic, roughly human-shaped mass of animate wind. In his insubstantial hands, he carries a giant halberd carved from an icicle. Okay. Let's talk to Zahodin and get this show on the road. You say hello to Zahodin. He doesn't seem to hear. Okay, fair enough. What's Srehalon have to say? You say hello to Srehalon. She doesn't say hello back. Okay. We examine the doors. The Blizzard Gate is the enormous entrance to the Snow Queen's throne room, carved from solid wind. We go in. First, opening the Blizzard Gate. You walk across the glassy floor between the golems up to the towering Blizzard Gate. The guards don't react. until you raise your hand to open the door. Then they draw their weapons and leap into battle. So, I confronted with two different enemies. One seems more fragile than the other, so we want to target that one first. So we're going to be going after Zehodin. But first we should shriek with Freeman. Cole is going to scan Zehodin. Nope. Scan Zehodin. Okay. Elizabeth. Let's go ahead and Scalamant from the get-go. And Eunoia should sing. Nusi. Oh, that's right. Nusi has the Arc of Iris to put enemies to sleep. Let's have Nusi do that. Let's undo. And have Eunoia Snoidal Wave. Nusi should Arc of Iris. Okay. Oop, we got another fast response. So, Zehodin sucks up the surrounding air, making himself even more enormous. His defense increases, his speed falls. Freeman takes a deep breath. He screams. They wince and flinch. Cole peers at Zehodin. He's level 6 with Wind Affinity, 38 HP, Attack 14, Defense 11, Magic 10, Resistance 11, Speed 17, Skill 10. So his defense and resistance are the same. He is more prone to attack. Strelon is unable to act. Ebenezer with grasp for amulet, the burning serpent Scalamant erupts into existence. With a vicious roar, he begins to twine himself around the enemy. They both take 1 damage. Eunoia gestures broadly. They both take 7, and Zehodin's skill decreases. Lucy looks up, and 2 vivid rainbows fill the air. Strelon takes 4. Zehodin takes 4. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and gouge Zehodin. No. We're going to go ahead and spend one more turn just trying to disrupt the enemies while we bolster attack and defense. So let's go ahead and Vex Strelon. Let's scan Strelon. We'll have Ebenezabeth. Her speed is such that she is still going ahead of Eunoia. Let's bolster Cole. Oh, bolster Cole. Eunoia, I want you to Enfrossen. Wait, hold on. Okay. Zehodin. Yeah, I'm combining their names now. And Nusi, I want you to inspire. Zehodin roars and swings his halberd at Cole. Cole takes 6. Raymond descends upon Strelon, clawing and squawking. He's distracted. Cole appears. He's at 28 of 40, attack 12, defense 9, magic 14, resistance 11, speed 13, skill 13. So Strelon is definitely weaker than he is resistant. So Strelon is unable to act. Ebenezabeth bolsters Cole's attack. Eunoia stares at Zehodin, wisps of frost snake through the air. Sleigh bells tinkle in the distance. Tendril frost lunges across the battlefield and constricts, dealing 4 damage, lowering defense.
Lucy lifts her broadsword with one hand. With the other, she runs a hand through her mulberry hair. She closes her eyes. Victory is in reach, she whispers. Don't give up. Ebenezabeth's attack and defense increase, as do Yanoi's and Freeman's and Cole's. Okay. Now, Freeman. Gouge, Wind. Cole. Dual Shot. Srehalon. Ebenezabeth. Rapid Fire. Srehalon. Eunoia. Snoidal Wave. Nusi. Slice. Zehoden. Okay, Zehoden gestures torpidly, and a faint mist coalesces around Ebenezabeth. Her attack returns to normal. Her defense returns to normal. With a murderous screech, Freeman plunges towards Zehoden, aiming at the softest tissue. Sickening sound wrenches. Takes 11. Loses speed and skill. Cole raises towards Srehalon. Deals 24 damage. Srehalon conjures a ribbon of elemental ice and fires it at Cole. Cole takes 11 damage. Cole's pistol falls from his hand. He stumbles to the ground. Sorry, little miss. Ebenezabeth takes aim at Srehalon, dealing 1 damage 6 times. But that does destroy Srehalon. Eunoia gestures broadly, and a sea green torrent falls out of the air, crashing violently on the enemy. Zehoden takes 7. Nusi slashes at Zehoden, dealing 6. Okay. Cole has fainted. Ebenezabeth has 9 HP. Eunoia has 2 HP. Nusi has 13. Freeman has 11. So, Freeman, I want you to gouge Zehoden. Ebenezabeth. Just go ahead and flare. Zehoden. Eunoia. Vortex. Zehoden. Vortex. Vortex. Doesn't have enough energy. Oh, right. We're that low. Just go ahead and stab then. And Nusi should slice. Okay. Zehoden takes 11 from Freeman. Nusi takes 3 from Zehoden. Ebenezabeth shoots fire, dealing 1. Eunoia levels the points of her trident at Zehoden. You're going to wish you hadn't crossed my darling sister. With a furious thrust, she finds her mark, and Zehoden takes 6 damage. Zehoden's halberd falls from his hands and shatters. His tempestuousness slowly abates until nothing is left but a tiny mirror shard. You win. Ooh, boy. Okay. Take all. Down. Rest. Reload. Up. In. First, opening the blizzard gate. The frigid surface of the blizzard gate bites into your hand, but you push hard, gritting your teeth through the pain, and open the way forward. Throne room. Walled by glassy ice is the highest spire of the Snow Queen's palace. Outside are the languid aurorae and uncaring stars. The Snow Queen watches you from atop a throne of bristling frost. We examine the queen. Her skin is like snow. Her hair is like night. There is no emotion in her eyes, only the twinkling of ceaseless thought. Let's examine the throne. There's a fascinating self-similarity to be found in the patterns of frost. If you look close enough, you avert your eyes. Okay. Well, let's talk to the queen, I guess. Your Majesty. She does not respond. My name is Ebenezer Scrooge. My clients have commissioned me to destroy you. The Snow Queen's eyebrow rises very slightly. I would prefer to avoid this, Your Majesty. I and my friends will leave you unharmed, and my clients will cancel their contract if you agree to cease your work here and undo some of the harm you've caused. The Queen nods. I understand, and I refuse your request. The Escalus Manifold is within reach. To abandon the project now would be madness. But the people you've manipulated to bring about this manifold, the mirror shards you've scattered throughout time and space, have caused incalculable suffering. Not incalculable, says the Snow Queen. I've done the calculations. The benefits of the Escalus manifold outweigh the costs. You look down at the floor, at your reflection in the ice. Then I can't convince you. Of course not. So there's no point to talking. You don't know what else to say. Well, for once, it is not enough simply to encounter them. For once, we must initiate hostility. You shake your head. I wish there were another way, you whisper, too quietly for anyone to hear. But there isn't, answers the Snow Queen. You put a hand on your revolver. The Queen smiles and rises from her throne. Your party, enemy party, Snow Queen. You know, I could have used my shards. I should have done that. Maybe 20 minutes. Let's actually do that. Use shard on Ebenezabeth. Gains max HP, magic resistance, and speed. Max HP, attack, and speed. Okay. So. Here we are. With one enemy, we begin by vexing the Queen. We will bolster Freeman. We will scan the Queen. We should enfrosten the Queen. And actually, no. We should Makani the Queen and castigate the Queen. Okay. Lucy will be castigating. The Snow Queen beckons to the air, and two monsters materialize, a giant white wolf on her right and a skeletal bull on her left. Freeman descends upon the Snow Queen, cawing and flapping and squawking wildly. The Snow Queen is thoroughly distracted by the interruption. The Snow Queen is unable to act. Ebenezabeth raises a hand wreathed in soft orange flames. The fire leaps toward Freeman. Freeman's attack increases. Cole peers at the Snow Queen through his scouter lens. Sneedroningen? Level 9, Affinity Ice, HP 69 of 69, Attack 15, Defense 9, Magic 16, Resistance 11, Speed 15, Skill 10. Eunoia whispers softly, and a current of piercing wind flies into the Snow Queen, dealing 4 damage. Eunoia's speed increases. You need to be taught a lesson, Nusi grumbles. Her wings flutter, and she leaps into the air. At the apex of her jump, she brandishes her sword, aiming its tip at the Snow Queen. Stay right there, she whispers. Her wings flutter again. She plummets sword first into the Snow Queen. Takes 8 damage. Attack decreases. Defense decreases. Magic decreases. Resistance decreases. Okay. So now we have a Rune-Carven Bull, a Rhymestalker Wolf, and the Snow Queen. So, Freeman, go ahead and shriek. Ebenezabeth, I want you to Scalamant. Cole, this would be a good time to lasso Snow Queen. Eunoia, Snoidal Wave. Nusi, Arc of Iris. The queen gestures again, and the dark haze gives form to a bee knight in black armor, wielding a smoking, vaporous sword. A shape rises through the floor. A young woman, a flimsy dress draped over cyanotic skin. In her hand is a snub-nosed revolver. The rhyme-stalker wolf looks into Nusi's eyes and breathes out a low-throated growl. Nusi ignores it. Freeman takes a deep breath. Then he screams louder than any other crow you've ever heard. The frostbit maul winces. The bee mist knight flinches. The rune-carven bull shudders violently. The rhyme-stalker wolf winces. The snow queen recoils. The snow queen is unable to act. Ebenezabeth grasps her amulet, and the burning serpent Scalamant erupts into existence. With a vicious roar, he begins to twine himself around the enemy. The maul takes 5 and decreases its attack. Mist Knight takes 7. Bee Mist Knight's attack decreases. Rune-carven bull takes 6. Snow Queen takes 5. Scalamant nods and disappears. Cole swings his electro lariat over his head a few times and lashes out and strikes the Snow Queen. She shudders violently and her speed decreases. Eunoia gestures broadly, and a sea green torrent falls out of the air, crashing violently on the enemy. The maul takes 10. The Mist Knight takes 12. The Rune-carven bull takes 11. The Rhyme-stalker wolf takes 11. The Snow Queen takes 10. The Rune-carven bull is unable to act. Nusi looks up and a vivid rainbow fills the air. The maul takes 7. The bee takes 9. The bull takes 8. The wolf takes 8. The Snow Queen takes 7. The maul shrieks and disappears. The Mist Knight evaporates. Freeman's attack returns to normal. That was a little bit of a waste, but so be it. Okay. We've got 10 health for Eunoia and Nusi each. So Freeman, why don't you use the bread on Eunoia? Ebenezabeth, you should Scalamant once more. Cole, go ahead and dual shot the queen. Dual shot queen. Eunoia can wave once more. And Nusi, inspire your allies. Rhyme-stalker wolf wakes up. Eunoia gains 9 HP. Ebenezabeth grasps her amulet and summons Scalamant again. The bull takes 6, the wolf takes 6, the queen takes 5. The bull crumbles to dust, the wolf melts away. Cole does 20 damage to the queen. Eunoia deals 10 to the queen. The queen is asleep. Nusi lifts her broadsword with one hand. With the other, she runs a hand through her mulberry hair. This is our moment, she says. Let's not waste it. Everyone's attack and defense increase. Ebenezabeth, your moment is here. So, gouge queen. Ebenezabeth, rapid fire the queen. Cole, go ahead and dual shot the queen. We're going to vortex the queen. Or actually, should we... Yeah, that's 3 HP. Vortex queen. And we're just going to go ahead and slice the queen. 9 damage with the gouge. Ebenezabeth fires, 2 damage each. The Snow Queen falls to the floor. You win. She stands up. She fixes Ebenezabeth with heartless eyes. No, she whispers. And a gust of bitter wind lifts her over your head, throws open the blizzard gate, carries her out of the room. We reload. And we go out. Blizzard gate. The vestibule is empty. She's already downstairs. We go down. You're halfway down, you think. The bottom of the stairs. The Mirror of Reason is in the southern hall. We go south to the Great Hall. The Snow Queen stands over the Mirror of Reason. You call out, "Please don't, Your Majesty." She doesn't turn to face you. She's thinking. She makes her decision and leaps into the mirror. The ice shatters. A horrific wind, an unearthly wind, sucks you in with her. T-home. But the place where the little girl found herself was not the heaven of archetypes, not at all. For the calculations of the Mirror of Reason were still incomplete, and the Escalus Manifold, which the brilliant queen valued above the happiness and safety of all God's creatures, remained out of reach. No, Elizabeth had fallen into the wide womb of uncreated night, the deep that precedes depth, length, breadth, and time. And here, too, was the Snow Queen. How pale she looked, and how small, adrift in that dark, hueless void. We examine the Queen. The Snow Queen's eyes were closed, and Elizabeth could not say whether she was sleeping or dead. At least, it seemed clear that now she had a rest from the thought and computation in which she had been ceaselessly engaged while awake. And Elizabeth reflected on this, and worried for the Snow Queen's safety, for she wished no harm upon the Queen, despite her heartlessness. A thing passed between the two of them. It was not a thing with a shape, or a name, or indeed a number, for now there were many of these things surrounding the Snow Queen in a great flurry. And while this congeries of shapeless things swarmed over the Snow Queen, Elizabeth could not see her face, and her heart became still more anxious for the Queen's safety. Can we take the Queen? Elizabeth could not tell how far away the Snow Queen was, but presently she felt as though the two of them were separated by an enormous distance. Examine the things. We can't. The thing? Elizabeth could not even have drawn a picture of the things that now thronged and whirled about the Snow Queen. They had no color and no form, but they had a voice of sorts, a very strange voice, and in this voice they said, "Are you back so soon, Elizabeth?" For Elizabeth had met this congeries before. We talked to the congeries. "I am very sorry to intrude," said Elizabeth. "The Snow Queen and I have come here by accident." "Is that so?" said the congeries. "She is very interesting to us. She is like you in some ways. In other respects, the two of you are altogether different." "She is not meant to be here, and neither am I," said Elizabeth, who found the entity's fascination with the Snow Queen quite alarming. "We must both get back to her palace in Finland, or else there will be a lot of trouble." "You mustn't worry, Elizabeth. We will send you back to Finland. You will be safe there, and may continue your important work. But the Snow Queen will stay here with us. We will find some use for her. We are certain of this." The little girl opened her mouth to protest, but it was in vain, for she was already falling back into space, back into time, into Finland, 1848. Throne room. The tower is empty. You are exhausted. You ascend the dais with leaden steps, and you slump into the Snow Queen's throne of frost. It's not as uncomfortable as it looks. Heavy sigh. Close your eyes, rub your forehead. Sigh again. This stuff never lets up, does it? Bedroom. The little girl sat up in her bed, where a little brown cat was curled up at her feet. To one side was a candle, which lent to the room a warm orange glow. To the other was a window, through which she could see the city of London, cold and blue and full of snow. At the foot of her bed was a low table with a violin and a space helmet on top of it. She could reach the table without getting out of bed. Across the room was her desk, on which there sat a revolver. A sort of birdcage hung over the desk, and a large black bird was sleeping soundly inside. Examine the violin. The little girl felt an affection for her violin that a non-musical person would find entirely unaccountable. But if you are a musician, reader, then the comfort found in a familiar instrument is something that requires no explanation. We examine Riemann. Elizabeth whispered a small hello to Riemann, who was sleeping, or else wanted Elizabeth to think he was. We examine Puss. Elizabeth's cat was asleep for the moment. It would surely wake up in the small hours of the night to embark upon some errand of mischief. Presently there came a knock on her bedroom door. "Yes, Papa?" she called, and the door opened, and a face appeared. A very old face, with great white eyebrows and a long white nightcap. It was Ebenezer Scrooge, of course. "A curious thing," he said. "Some mail has come for you in the middle of the night. But stranger things have happened, I suppose." He dropped something on the little girl's desk and blew her a kiss, which she returned. Then he closed the door again. We'll take the envelope. No, that's not right. Examine something. The picture postcard, the elegant letter, or the official letter. Okay. Examine picture postcard. The picture postcard was out of reach, and the little girl frowned a little, realizing that she would now have to get out of her warm bed. Well, we stand. Ebenezer slowly got out of bed so as not to disturb the little brown cat, and she folded the covers back carefully so that the warmth would not go out of them all at once. The bedroom floor was cold beneath her feet, and she resolved to get back into bed as soon as possible. We take the postcard, take the letter, and the official. Having taken them, Ebony Smith climbed back into her bed, which was still warm. We examined the postcard. On one side of the postcard there was a picture of a white beach, a blue ocean, a distant volcano. On the other side, a note was written. I never heard of no honeymooners cutting into their honeymoon time to send any... I think that's supposed to be send any mail. Wish you were here... Oh, no, here we go. I never heard of no honeymooners cutting into their honeymoon time to send any wish you were here cards, but Nusi says it's de rigueur, so here we are. We owe you a heck of a lot for introducing us, and anytime you are in the neighborhood, you are a welcome guest. Please give our love to everyone else so I do not have to write any more of these cards. Ebby, I know I shouldn't have trusted him with the postcards. Best wishes. Thanks for everything. XOXO. Nusi and Cole. That's nice. I had forgotten that they get together in the end. She's a bug lady, and he is a man from Deimos. What a pair. Let's read the official. At the head of the letter, there was an insignia of 2 crossed keys. The little girl sighed deeply and read, Ebenezer Scrooge, having concluded our investigation, we find that your assignment to eliminate the Snow Queen and the moral threat posed by her activities has been carried out within parameters established by the instrument signed 4th November 1847. In accordance with said contract, the sum of 50,000 Kronendollars has been deposited in your father's account, number 1013152, at the Bank Bonhot in Neuchâtel. Despite certain irregularities uncovered in the aforementioned investigation, we are, on the whole, pleased with your performance and confident that we shall call on your services again. Pius PP 9, Palazzo del Quirinal, Roma, 11th January 1848. Then Ebenezer closed her eyes and muttered to herself. So, this was apparently a job commissioned by the Pope. Then we've also got the elegant letter. The letter was written in an ornate hand on thick vellum. It read, My dear sister Ebenezabeth, Father says I must send you a thank you note, even though I thanked you so many times in person, during and after our adventure. And anyway, we have this special bond of sisterhood between us, which communicates such things with no need for words. But Father is very firm about this, so here is my gratitude put down in writing, like a bill of receipt. Never mind that. I've just realized that you haven't heard about my legs. I traded them to our dear sister Irina. Now she has legs, and I have her tail, which is not as lovely as my own original tail, but I imagine I'll have it back one of these days. Irina has gone to the surface to have her own adventures among the landwalkers, smaller adventures, undoubtedly, than you and I have had, but if they're at all interesting, I'll write to you again and communicate the salient details. I am running out of space. I will write much smaller. Squint your beautiful little eyes, Ebony Elizabeth. I hereby compel you to visit Atlantis again very soon, but if you arrive before Irene returns, she'll be cross, so you'll have to come twice, once just for me and once for Irene and me, and for Father, who misses you dearly. Now there truly is no more space except for my signature. All my love, Eunoia. That's great. So, examine our revolver. At this moment, the little girl's not much worried about her revolver. Yes. Examine the space helmet. The space helmet with its gleaming spherical visor looked very much out of place in this bedroom. Since she had acquired it in November of 1969, the little girl had found remarkably little use for it. And examine London. Frost was creeping around the corners of the window frame, and through the glass the little girl could see snow falling on London in the blue moonlight. And examining herself, Elizabeth still felt very worn out, and she was glad to be back at home. And if I tried to sleep, it was very late, but the little girl had a certain nighttime routine which she followed as precisely as she could whenever circumstances permitted. Before falling asleep, she would always practice on her violin, provided the instrument was available. So, play violin. The little girl picked up her violin. She nestled the instrument under her chin and raised her bow, and she began to play very quietly. The music did not awaken the little brown cat, who was so used to the sound that it might have been the wind or the rain. It did not bother Freeman, who was of course only pretending to sleep, and it did not bother Ebenezer Scrooge, to whom the sound of his daughter's playing was the sweetest in the world. Indeed, everyone who heard the song played by the little girl thought that it was a very calming and restful tune, perfectly suited to the darkness of a London winter's night. The little girl herself was not immune to this impression, and presently she put down her instrument and fell into a deep sleep. The end. Would you like to restart, restore a save game, quit, or undo the last command? We shall quit. But this has been a delightful adventure for Elizabeth. Quite challenging, very involved. One of the most involved that we will experience, but we will have more soon. Next week, we shall be returning to labor for His Holiness Pope Pius IX. In this game, the little match girl and her associate do the Pope a favor. It takes about 2 hours to play. It leans heavily on a gimmick that only works in the browser version. So I am hopeful that we'll be able to finish that in one session, which we will find out. And thank you for joining me once more. I have been Jay Essen, and I hope you enjoy whatever you choose to do next.